Hey guys, welcome to the close on a Fed minute kind of day here. We're expecting the minutes to come out any second here, and they are, in fact, right now. A quick look, guys, at where we are heading into the minutes, and then we'll get right into what the market is reacting here. But let's have a look at a pretty red board here. It's the NASDAQ leading 204, 109 there for the S&P. Pretty red day. I'm going to sift through some of these comments, but let's get into how the market's reacting here, guys.
Oh, what's up, guys? Yeah, just as we, and again, I just did a little lesson with these traders here, and I came back and said I'm short AMD because it was right at this level 104. We just took it out at 103.50 there, so we're short right now 104.20. We just took some out at 103.50 there as it's starting to move back down in. I have no idea what these comments are because I don't see any updates right now, but we are trading this market here, 104.50 coming through there. You can see a lot of violence now in the market. Like AMD was just at 104, now it's back down to 103.70, 103.80. Yeah, a lot of volume being pushed through now on these markets. So let's wait to see where we can go. We are short now. AMD watching the NASDAQ, man. That's what's going to tell. And if you look at this, look, like if you guys can see this, look, that's the high and then that's the bottom. So you have like basically 100 NASDAQ points in here in 1 minute back and forth. So very, very difficult to trade during these times, especially if you're trying to pick a direction.
And that's the key. Like even the NASDAQ, it's not making a move right now. We're starting to go up, but we have not really broken out. 355 on the Qs. Now you're starting to get a move. Now we're going. Like Tesla's starting to make a move to the upside here. I'm watching Micron because that is at the high of the day. You basically want to throw out some of the stuff that you're doing in the morning. Like Micron's now trying to break out from where it was, and we could get to that 74. Just remember, a lot of times they're deciphering what is going on in the minutes and all those different key phrases, so it can take time to establish a clean direction, which gives you some pullbacks if you've got a big level. So I'm going to try and scalp off some of these highs, looking at the 74 on Micron currently. Also in play, DWAC made a late move. I will be trading some of that, but we got to follow the markets for now.
Yeah, we reversed into the long here on AMD. Now we're long 104.60 as it breaks our level. Now we're, yeah, Betty. Now we're making money on the long side of things here as AMD goes right back up to its day high. That's not gonna, I'm not gonna forget about Intel here touching 48. I like this long as well. If we take out 48, this was a stop spot for me before, but now we're gonna try to take this long, breaking back down through $48 right now on Intel. Can Intel turn green today? Yes, it can, I believe. Let's see if we take down 48. But right now we're cooking with gas here as AMD up 50 cents in the money now, just at this pre-market level. So again, short and out, reverse into the long, and now we'll see how high we can go here as this is still running to the upside here, the NASDAQ taking out some new levels. Can we get green on the NASDAQ? We were down like 2.7 or 2.8 at one point.
Yeah, and just watching, like if you want to see relative strength or weakness, here's the chart of the NASDAQ. If you look at the wick high, you got a 14.65 or so at the top, just a little bit lower than that. And we just tested it. So anything that is lower than those morning highs is still a little bit relatively weak. I'm going to put square into that camp. Like Micron did not hold 74, in and out pretty quick off that. But I only want to be taking like a scalp trade and then see if we can get some headlines to give an idea of what we're expecting. We did consider, yesterday they set us up for it, right? Say all of the worst so that no matter what comes out in the minutes, you've probably heard the worst of it and sold off both yesterday and today. You are getting an up move, but anything that can't get back to these highs is still looking relatively weak. I do have to jump over to SBFM, which I was shorting. So small caps don't care about the market, but this is coming right back into the, oh goodness, it just fell again. This is coming right back into the highs. It's been dying when it gets to $7.60 and $8. So I'm shorting that every time.
I don't want to forget. I mean, we could probably start to run down some of our stocks here. I don't want to forget about that 48 level. We could have shorted that 48 level on Intel. We didn't go long. It didn't break it, but I'm wondering now if that was just a euphoric move up here in the futures and you should have taken all your longs out if you had any. But right now, Intel is fading off that level. So as long as the futures kind of just hang out here, realistically, and again, like I was just talking with some guys there, and it's like you need the market to settle down because if this is going to go like this and then tick up and down 100 points on the NASDAQ in the same candle, then that's going to be very, very hard to be biased one way or the other here. So now the market's starting to come back down. So let's get out of this AMD now, and we just basically, lesson learned on this is you don't need to be in a position heading into a crucial number or a release, right? And so AMD up and down $1 here. It wasn't really that fun. It was nothing really happening there, all in all. But it looks like the short now wants to come back in for AMD. And what a surprise, guys! It went right up to its high of the day, 105.40 there, before stopping on a dime and turning right back down. So key levels seems to still be key, even in this volatile market. What's up, Beep?
All right, I had some communications issues there, guys. We're back. One note here, one interesting note anyways, Fed participants determined that it would be appropriate to quickly shift the stance of monetary policy towards neutrality in the coming months if conditions determine that they should do that. They also said that they could slow things down, surprisingly, if conditions, again, warranted for that. Reductions to the balance sheet set to start in May, which we already knew. I think the positivity initially came from the fact that there was nothing here that really surprised anyone.
Yeah, definitely. Well, slowing down, that's not a bad thing because everyone was talking about the balance sheet and the doom and gloom. And if we're not going to get that, then you know it's going to be that other thing. So I kind of look at that opportunity and say anything that wants to go into jailbreak mode, let's look for the original direction. Now, the key thing about this is I only want to look at prices where there was liquidity. So there was a curl, consolidation curl, whatever you want to call it, on Micron, 73.60. There was one at 73.2. So those are the price areas that I want to get in front of. If I'm going to play, give me a break. It's like put an order in and then it goes up 4 or 5 cents and you don't want to chase it. But if I'm going to play or trade in front of any of these levels, it's got to be where there was consolidation right before the number or right after the number. I'm not going to mess around in the middle of any of these ranges. So keep things tight to the vest. But if that's bullish enough for me, also given the fact that what we've done in the last couple of days, I want to go that direction. If you see me in BBAI, I'll show you the chart when we come back from Brendan, but it is just flatlining. The risk to reward to sit in the long actually makes some sense. Brendo?
I'm just going to bring up the Fed fund rate tool here in a second to show you where we're at right now. But it's worth noting, guys, there was a lot, it said, of members saying that they considered and would have liked a 50 basis point hike at the last meeting. So yeah, here we go. Now 75.5% chance there for that 50 basis point hike coming in May.
Oh man,
that's the fun part. It's
yeah.
like, okay, you get something that's bullish, and the next thing that comes out is bearish. And that actually goes to the point that I was just trying to make there. Like when you're in this kind of whipsaw action, the benefit of sort of trying to keep tight stops and play around key areas is as it's whipping around here, like everything, I don't want to be holding on and sort of averaging into a deeper level because you could be flipping direction easily. So I'd rather be going for risk 15 to 20 cents on a pullback that we can continue the trend, and then you're starting to get 50, 60 cent moves, dollar moves to the upside, as opposed to digging in on any level. Like if I'm digging in, it's something that's not following the market. You know, that's, to me, it's going to be SBFM, it's going to be DWAC, it's going to be this BBAI. But if you're trading something that follows the market, we're still trying to determine a direction, and you've already heard a couple of bullish and a couple of bearish things come out of those minutes as we speak. And of course, as I say that, BBAI looks like it wants to trend down.
Oh, Nelly. And this is the thing, man. Neil and I will have different opinions and trade differently. Switching that up and almost going the other way. I really thought AMD was a short. So guess what, man? Now we're 50 cents in the money on the short. And I'm just playing the momentum in the market. And not that Neil or I are wrong on these opinions. It does have to develop a way. But look at what's just happened there. We just made that complete reversal way lower than we even were at 2 p.m. now. And they're starting to make the downside. So you know what I did? I just went, and I'm almost at the high of the day for me again. Look what I did, man. I went over to Rivian. And again, it's funny because I was just telling these guys, name that I missed short was Rivian. So when the market popped up there, I took advantage of that and went short Rivian. So right now we're short Rivian at 41 bucks. It's coming to the downside. We'll see if we can take a piece out here. 70. We already took a piece out. 80. So if Rivian can come back down. Then there's AMD here. We wanted to go short. We flirted with it, man. We got punched long. We could have taken that out. But now we're back into the short again here on AMD. And now that's coming to the downside. We're short at 103.60. Let's just put it, there it is. Another out for us, all out here. If VWAP holds, you can see we have some outs lower than VWAP here. Yeah, let's go. If we tank below this 103, let's put another bit out here at 04. Maybe we could take another 50-cent winner on this. So let's see if it holds 103. But right now we are short. Right now, let's go AMD. Oh, I was at 104 there. We got out. Oh, yeah, that printed me. Nice. So we got out there at 103. Now let's see about the downside. A 70-cent winner on right now for AMD. A 30-cent winner on for Rivian. And we're still pumping lower here, guys. So hopefully this market does collapse. And And then we've got 2 shorts on that we definitely like right now. So AMD short side, Rivian short side, let's go.
Yeah, so much for small caps not following the market. They just pulled the rug on SBFM just now. So both BBAI and SBFM pulled the rug at the same time the market made that curl. I suppose it's risk off everywhere. If this breaks VWAP, we could be headed to $6. Brendo?
Or on the bearish side of things, many participants noted that one or more 50 basis point increase in the target range could be appropriate at future meetings. So I think that's the first time we've heard one or more 50 basis point increase, guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly. But if you're getting to the same point at the end,
yep.
It doesn't, like, I get it, it's a shock, but if you end up at the same place in 1 year, it's not a gigantic shift in terms of like the overall. It's just about the market sort of like repricing like short-term risk. If you're long-term, I don't think it matters too much there. The balance sheet comments are always a little bit more important to me because that's the one thing that I don't think anybody's factoring in. I'm going to hold through VWAP on SPFM. The way that sort of came down there, that's 2 massive capitulation candles. I don't see why it can't fall even further. But Block was the one that's been incredibly weak. Like, look at the turn at 129. Of course, I look for the consolidation level, so 130 is going to be it. You're right back into this 125 low. And if you remember from the morning, if 125 goes on the daily, that's a big level for Block. And the only thing left is the 50 period, 120 even, I suppose, and then the 50 period down at 117. So it's down 7.5%, and it's not even at that 25 mark yet.
Like, wow, Rivian. Like, honestly, what a monster trade here for me on RIVN. We wanted that short. We talked about this, and I was just like to the traders behind us here. I was like, guys, we miss trades, and sometimes you do. Look at Rivian today. We wanted that short, but we wanted 44 short. That didn't come in. But when we get that bump up in the market there, and again, it just. Rivian really went up to $42. I wasn't sitting here when that happened, but then that number came in, gave us a reason to go short again. So there it is, a break of VWAP downside right now. Short Rivian right now, 40.90. It's a 50-cent winner on Rivian. And by the way, right now, AMD collapsing. So we've taken 2 trades. 2 trades since this number came out, both to the short side. Rivian, 55 cents in the money. AMD at 75 cents in the money right now on that short. So yeah, this is how we trade, man. And hopefully you're able to take a little bit of money on these plays as well. Let's go back and look at Tilray quickly. We've left this one alone. It came in, danced again, got out, tried one more. Like, remember we tried that at 55 and there's the out at 50. So we lose 5 cents on the last little piece of Tilray. But this might be a name that's something interesting here at 725 bottom now for Tilray. But let's not sleep on these trades here because the market is making moves downside, and I got to make sure that we make sure to capture the majority of these. I mean, look, we're capturing a hell of a lot of profit right now as AMD is now $1 in the money for us, and Rivian's still going downside. But this market can reverse, man. I mean, Brennan's just like one note away from saying, they just got dovish again or something. But remember, these are prepared notes. So the algorithms have already gone through these. There's going to be no speak or anything after this, as far as I know. So this is what it is. It's just notes on their past meeting. I'm guessing that the biggest idea here was the fact that they talked about possibly doing 50 points the last time, and they only did a quarter. So to me, that's obviously some pretty.
What Brainerd said yesterday was definitely, I think, a little bit worse. Like, that was stronger rhetoric, I would say. But there are names that you can sort of look at that should trade relatively normally. And when you talk about, I said the small caps, but then when the last flash down there, the rug got pulled as well on some of those. But DWAC. This one went up, and there was no news on this. I think it just sort of grinded back up with the market. And I'll go back to a trade that was working right before we got on, and then it kind of stopped out at the top. 47 is the high. You got 46.5. Want to go into the lower high now because it tried to wick through 47, got to 47.5, wick through 47, pulled right back into this 46. So now I'm looking midway at that 46.5. This looks like it has a chance to roll over again. There was nothing that really moved this to the upside outside of it sort of bleeding up on not a ton of volume. Brendan?
One other thing of note here, guys, the reason they put forward essentially that they did not go 50 basis points the last meeting was because of the Ukraine invasion. So they did actually specify that was the reason for not going 50 basis points in the last meeting. One thing to watch here, we're already kind of dying off as far as volume is concerned. So that might be it, but we'll keep our eyes out.
Man, Rivian right now, it's another hot dog kind of afternoon. I don't know what you guys had for lunch. We had some nice little, well, I had some nice egg salad on top of a nice little salad there. And it was pretty good. I think you guys had cod, right?
It was fish and chips.
Fish and chips, that's
it was
what
okay.
Yeah, cod. It was cod. It was okay. Not halibut, but I like halibut there in the fish and chip side of things, but that's because I'm bougie like that. Okay, there's Rivian, 75 cents in the money. And look at AMD, Trader Prad. This one's for you, buddy. We're $1.50 now in the money on AMD off this 104.50 short. Hopefully you still got yours on, my man. As here we go to the downside. Adios, amigos. AMD, a big-time downside move. And we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. Thank you for joining us one more time here on tradertv.live. Oh, I wanted to address something because I assume he's not talking to us. And it's right here. It was the moon party. How about showing us your trades? Can't be talking to us because every single trade that we make, I show you. So there it is. We took this short right in front of you guys. We took this short again on AMD, and we talked about this Rivian short before we even had it. So there you go. Rivian short, AMD short, everything's in there. Thank you, Mr. Moon Party, for this one. What's the trade of the day? We're debating what we're going to do for trade of the day. We didn't go right away on trade of the day yet.
Well, we never, whenever there's something happening in the market at 2 o'clock, like we kind of decided we're not going to go and do that when there's actual market movement going on. So when things calm down, we'll go ahead and do it.
Yep, we will. But so anyways, thank you for asking that. And thank you. Hey, that means they like the trade of the day.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Good job there. Well, I'm not going to spoil what mine or Neil's trade of the day are. We're just deciding when to do it. So that will be coming very, very soon. Yeah.
I see Niall got, by the way, guys, I know there's a penny stock moving, and I see it. It's putting in some serious volume, and I do want to trade it, but I just have to get some quick locates on it. It's not a crazy, crazy move, but the volume is starting to pick up, and you have a couple of levels, 70 and 75, that have come into interest. But Square's at that 125 mark. Speaking of names that are really, really starting to go, and like we said, that's a huge shelf.
Let me know when you tweet that. I'm just talking to Liz here and talking out loud because that's what I do. Okay, so Rivian, again, we are now out, and just to talk about it, we're now out of 30%, or sorry, we only have 30%. We're out of 70% of the trade here for Rivian. Look, I really hope we get to this level, and I'm pretty sure we will. So first we got to take down 40. So I will have a bid at 40 as my next bid on Rivian. I don't have any bids whatsoever on AMD. Wow. Fire the cannons off. Victoria came up to me just literally 20 minutes ago, right before we went on the air, and said, why did you short AMD again? And I said, because of 104, 105 is why we shorted AMD. And that's not AMD, that's Intel. This is right here why we shorted it off of that high there. So we did get stopped out. We talked about that. And then small error. And then we got out and back in. Short. And now, the maker has come for AMD down to the downside. This is probably a good spot to get out. I don't know. Let's see what happens now. The market is back in. We are, I believe, we are now at days low in the market. So broke it. Yeah. So why can't we take down lower lows here on AMD is what I'm thinking. So we're going to hold on to this. But there it is, man. A nice little $2 winner for you on AMD. And thank you very much, Frankly Frank, saying that we are fun guys overall. So thank you, Frank. And thank you for your patronage as well.
Frankly Frank. That is a great name, by the way.
He's just being frank.
I'm a sucker for a pun, man. I love the puns. So I yelled out, but I didn't really show you guys the shelf on Square here. Here's the 15-minute, right? So you can kind of see the shelf we're talking about. It was good before, but if we take this out, the gap is significant. There's 120 because it's psychological, and then the 50 period on the actual daily chart is going to show up there at about 117, but the gap is huge. Square goes down. SPFM, I'm looking to reload, by the way. It's just, after what we just saw, I'm not really going to be waiting for this to get back up to the high of the day. The targets where it broke out from at 620, looks like about 625 here in the morning. And if it gets back up to about 7 to 720, I'm going to look for that support to turn into another resistance and then try and play this stair step. At this point, thinking it's going to break the high, it could, but I'd rather play it off the lower level and get a little bit more aggressive with some of these names. DWAC is sort of a similar story. I'm looking to jump into that one a little bit lower than before. Just going to show you quickly here. We're below the last level, which is 45.80. So I now want to short it to that 46 level. If it breaks, then we can come back and think about that high of the day. But want to get a bit more aggressive with some of these names that we think can go a little bit further to the downside.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm just looking here, figuring out what we're going to do. I'm just looking at these trades. So I am bidding Rivian in single digits. We've talked about that. And I just want to find some more trades. I talked about Goldman Sachs earlier being at lows right now for the 52-week low. They take that out today. Let's see what they're doing on this. Looks like a nice bump. Again, right back up today's high there on that bump. Like, I mean, everything went up. So to sit here and say we should have shorted this or that, I'm really happy with the two names that we did short. Both names obviously on the sticky note. And that was part of it, guys. And I know not everybody obviously could be part of, you know, what I was talking about with the traders. But I said, basically, my preparation comes from the watch list. So watchlist.tradertv.live, I think that's the first place you go. And then when that news came out and we wanted to go short, I mean, the top two names on here that I had for short ideas, AMD and Rivian, were the two that I went right back over to. So you got to try to have like some of that in your back pocket just in case. But okay, on that note though, I'm going to get one more piece out here. There we go. Oh, good out. I don't know if we just pushed that up a little bit there, but we just took a 27 bid. We knocked it out there, or 28 I think it was. What did I get filled out here? Oh no, 26 there as we take that out, and then Rivian shot up a little bit, but not that much. Now I'm going to cancel my 40 flat bid as we just took a piece out there. Now we have, I mean, we got a little bit of partial fill there. So we have honestly sub 20% left of this position on Rivian. And again, I'm just wondering, is the market now turning around here?
Like it.
Yeah, it feels like it. So now they've absorbed the number. And so now you throw out, in my opinion, now you throw out the FOMC. It's over with now. Everybody's absorbed it. And now we can continue to trade again. So on that note, we got to find some levels for AMD to get out. And we're getting very, very close. How about this level right here, randomly, 102.80 or so, maybe up to 103. What's that level, 103.20? I'd hate to be wrong and not taking out the low of the day there on AMD. But let's put another bid out. If we get 102.20, we'll take it. But we're getting very, very close to getting out of AMD here, guys.
Yeah, and that shelf that we talked about on Square, this morning we used it, of course, as a reversal. If you're watching the morning show, when it got to that 125, well, the market just turned again, and it does the same thing at 125. So low of the day, that level on the 15-minute from 2 weeks ago, still holding up on block. And it just gave that 125 into the 125 half. Now looking for VWAP here. I still believe overall it's weak. You're not going to get, like if Square had come back to 134, it would have been an obvious short. It just never got there. Like it's still relatively weak and we can take out the bottom. But as long as that floor holds, when the market makes a turn and off of that low, it's been valid every single time. At some point in a weak enough market, you do break levels like this. So, you know, as much as I like shorting Square or block, whichever you want to call it, once it goes through that floor, there's no holding the long, there's no averaging into it. It's just got to be able to get out and then have the guts to sort of short it at the low of the day, even though it's down 8%. Sometimes that's just the trade, and it stinks. It's psychologically, it never feels the best doing it. You always want to get a good price, but sometimes it's what you have to do. That Nile has not really retested yet, so if volume comes back into it, maybe it gets interesting at about 70. Unfortunately, it's not happening. I haven't looked at any of the, U.S.-listed Chinese names. I always want to say Chinese names, but U.S.-listed Chinese names. Pinduo Duo, I see someone mention it in the chat. I was trading BABA earlier, but Pinduo Duo had a key level at 47, which I see it's nowhere close. Like everything else, it looks like it just bounced around. Yeah, I don't see anything obvious about Pinduo Duo. I mean, I understand, like, if it gets below that 44, it's still also got room to the bottom, but the real good level is shorting off of 47, and then if it gets below this current 44, not a heck of a lot in the middle, which I don't want to trade anything that's sort of, you know, that isn't at a key price, because if you can't determine where you're going to be wrong, then it's kind of hard to get in.
Yeah, no, and that's all what we're talking about right now is, you know, watching the market, trying to figure out some key levels, have a bias and things like that. And if there's a name that you want to go long on, wait for your long levels. If there's a name you want to go short like AMD, be patient, wait for those short levels. And then I just talked about, I want to thank Liz here as well. Here's a video here talking about in front of our traders. So if you guys want to be able to check that, go over. I'll put it in the chat here. So will Ms. V, and you can go see a little bit what we're talking about on the kind of stuff that we do here at Day Trade the World as far as teaching and everything goes right there. So thanks, Liz, and thank you to all the traders for listening. And maybe they didn't, but thanks for attending anyways. I think some good questions came through there for sure. All right, so I'm just going to treat this like a short until it's not for AMD. So I don't know if it's going to be the right call or not. It's pretty volatile. We should have got out at the bottom there, I'm pretty sure. It's hindsight looking at it, but like we double touched there, we touch again there, and then we touched it 102 one more time. That's 3 bottoms that we kind of ignored. So I feel like, we were short there into that bottom and we didn't trade it out. And then we had some bottom shorts here as well, and we didn't trade it out. And right now we're not trading it out again. So what I'm going to do is load up one more time here around 103, and then if we get a break of like 103.30 or so, then that's when we'll get out of AMD. So I am prepared now to go into the long for AMD and just see what happens. So AMD right now looking for the trade to go short, into AMD and out of it if we break above this 103.30. That's my trade right now for AMD, guys.
Yeah, and good pointing out here in the chat, it was a Team PJCT. Come on, my Binance chart. Yeah, anyways, you're going to see Bitcoin dropping pretty heavily here. So you are getting like one of those sort of risk-off events which goes all over the place. So as the market's bouncing, like there's been a slight bounce in BTC, but you're not getting a heck of a lot. It's so weak. Like this move right now, expected square to almost be at VWAP by now. So the fact that you're really only just trying to get above this 126, I might just go ahead and take the buck. I don't feel nearly as confident in like the long bounces. It's a good level, but it only gave 127.50 when we took it in the morning, and the last spike up was more like a very, very gradual that took twice as long. But for a 5-minute trade off the low of the day, let's just go ahead and bag that one and sort of move on to the next. Tesla's still making some power moves. We're curling over in that SBFM. Oh, there wasn't even a chance to reload this one. Unfortunately, we can't even get back into this around 7 to 7.20. It looks like it's just about to give it up right now. And we can get more shares of DWAC because that's starting to come, but this SBFM, it might actually drop more than 650. I don't even know if I want to be sitting on the bid. Let's just see what happens. If it breaks 650, if it holds, if it can hold at 620, I'll just get out there. But if it slams through, I'd rather just hold through that level. Brendo?
All right, a bit of a bounce underway here, so maybe a good time to take a bit of a pause. We'll do a bit of a review here and discuss a few things that we were looking at this morning as well, including the market that was obviously red. Here we are now, 1.3, 2.5 total for the NASDAQ, the Dow 1%. To the downside following the Fed minutes. And as the guys were saying, just to kind of recap here, this is a prepared statement. So once it's out there and everyone kind of deciphers what has been said and then what is different from, the last meeting and what is different from when we got the actual rate hike going back to last month, that's about it. It's not like the FOMC day where we actually get the rate hike and then we get the comments from Fed Chair Powell and then the press conference as well. So just to highlight that fact, here is the actual comments that came out at 2 p.m. Everything you see, let me just go back. Everything you see that's in red here is new, essentially, or different from what happened the last time. So once the algos, as the guys were saying there, sift through all of these, that's about it. Party's kind of over. So as I said, we're seeing a bit of a bounce. So let's take a bit of a breather here and reset. We'll talk a little bit about what we were talking about in the pre-market. We'll have a look at some of the trades that we put on at the open this morning. Make sure you're joining us every morning at 8:30. We get you ready for the open at 9:30. Neil's going to take us through one of his trades right here.
There were lots of great trading opportunities today. We're going to go with Square here, but the key, or block, whichever you want to call it, but the key thing was every single trade that gave you your best results with the market moving the way it was today, you had to have a plan, you had to have a key level, and that's the thing. And we had this level, and we actually had an alert for this in both directions multiple times on block. And I'm blowing up the 60-minute just so you can see how significant it's been when it's been bouncing back and forth off of this 135 price, right? Like we've run away from it, we've gotten there, and then had these great bounces to the upside. You find that support, and then run away from it again. And that's what I like to see for a turnaround point. Now, when the market's looking like it's coming down this morning, and it was a very weak market, we're thinking to the short side of the trade, it's going to give you this opportunity for that short the pop type of trade. So a lot of times when you've got a floor like this, the short is into it in front of 135. It's not that really hard to figure it out. Whether you want to get in, just set it $1 before, 50 cents before, $1.50. you have to determine your risk to reward there. I like the 134 level. I wanted to give it about $1 and change. There's always going to be slippage in the trade. The other approach you can do is to allow it to hit the level and then try and find a curl. Now, the way the market is moving in these mornings has made it very tricky to be able to do that. So I preferred sitting there, knowing where I wanted to get in, and then just having my stop in case it blew through. After this, and the market's flushing and you've got in and you've got it good, it's just about where do you want to get out. Again, some predetermined areas that we're watching, if you look at it trying to fill this gap to the downside, you can obviously see about 132, and then you've got this hard level at 127.5, 128 that I've marked off. You get through that price, and the next channel down is your 125. It's really 124.5, but that's sort of splitting hairs. And if you look at what we're doing here, we chew. There isn't even a chance. That first level of 132, there isn't even a chance. It chews through it, and you're just hitting bid and enter when it goes to that price and getting 50 cents better. But on that snap down, I'm always wanting to cover some when it gets to that first key level, because sometimes you get whipsaw action allowing you to get back in. Didn't happen. It only flushed from there. You're going to see a crack 130. Then all of a sudden we're looking at that 128, 129 area. That's where we get out of the trade. And at the time, the market was trying to bounce there. I knew I wanted to take a shot at that 125. Could we have held a short into it? Very possibly, but the market had shown signs of strength, and we were at one of our key levels. And when that happens, we're going to get out of the trade. We did get that 125 when going counter trend. Sometimes I feel like it is better to allow it to test off a level first. It makes the bottom, confirms we like that low. We then test it again. You get a wick bottom again, holding the low of the day, and then entering the trade. And then it's a simple VWAP retracement, although I like to prefer to say you're getting it right to the last consolidation. Sometimes VWAP's a bit of a moving target. I care more where liquidity had come in, and liquidity had come in at about 127. So that's going to give you about $1 return overall average, $2 total move, and it gave it to you another time, but I didn't like the fact that we had violated that low several times. The difference with the afternoon trade, we'll go bonus side, because after the Fed made the move to the upside, it jackrabbited up, and then we get that reversal after the Fed meeting minutes. So you get to come right back into a liquidity replenishment point, which is at that low of the day, and then once again, rinse and repeat the trade that you were making before. That's the thing with a key price level. When you're able to revisit it, a lot of times it's good because there's liquidity around it. Sellers dry up and buyers come in, or vice versa. So when you get these types of events, like a rapid move downside, that's because of a lack of liquidity. Liquidity is likely to come in, or a better chance to come in, at those key price areas that you've already identified.
Let's get into a few ideas we had in the morning. If you joined us this morning, we were looking at a number of different names, a number of different concepts going towards the open this morning. They were all on that. That is the watch list, guys, absolutely free every single day. You can use a QR code. You can ask Miss V in the chat. Very, very nice. And she will set you up with the free morning watch list if you need it. Twitter was on the minds of everyone. Day 3 after we get the Elon news earlier in the week. The only change here for Twitter today was essentially that they changed the SEC filing, the initial one, from passive to active investor when it comes to Elon Musk. I just noticed as well, holding up quite nicely here versus the overall market is Twitter, guys.
Wow, this market is blowing up right now as I'm trying to, we're not reloading Rivian or anything like that yet. I mean, if we get back up here, we'll probably think about a reload. But right now, Rivian right back up to the upside. A big move here in the market back up. So watch out for that move. Like I said, remember I said we had 16% or so left of Rivian. So either way, Rivian goes right up our board as a top stock for me once again. We're going to short this into 42. So it has to come up here to like 41.60, 41.70, something like that before we reload into this short. But you want to talk about Twitter? This was an example that I was giving to the guys earlier today when we talked about this, and it was just the fact that we had a very, very key level coming through, and it was yesterday's bottom right there on Twitter, and that's what we waited for. So now, of course, my line disappears, but if you see that, that's where we reloaded this trade, and it actually just now that we bring this up, of course, now I'm seeing it, but we just went, whoops, I don't need 2 lines there, although you're going to get 2 lines. We just went right back into that level again, and then there you had that same reload back down here near $50 to the upside. So yeah, Twitter now green for the day, which is nice. It's been bouncing around, a very, very rough trade today, but we were very, very patient. And I think patient is key, man. We didn't get into our first trade until 10:20. And that was right here, and then we blew it up to the upside, including taking a $2 win there on Twitter. But right now, this market is blowing up, so we got to get ready to get some shorts on board here. Big move for the market, but we're just back to sort of where we were when we dipped and dived there on that release. So remember, this is the 2 p.m. release for FOMC. We're just kind of coming back in now. And remember what we said? It's like you can kind of close your eyes. Like everybody knows what's happening here. So to me, it's no surprise we come right back to where we were in the first place on this number. I think we got to look for some more shorts. But Twitter was an interesting trade today, one of my best.
Yeah, and Twitter was a fantastic trade today. The only trade that didn't work out was trying to short 52. It worked for the short in the morning, and then there was that hard reversal. We love when a stock, what makes it for a good reversal is when a stock is going in the right direction. So it's going down, trending to the downside, and then holds, does that failed breakout at the open, and then holds the low. And once it held the low, then it turned into reverse. Right now, it's in the middle. So unless you're buying it off of support, I don't see an obvious trade there, but we are getting some other names which are starting to come up here. I just finished actually talking about not trying to hit a home run on Square because rinse and repeat the trade off the bottom because I like the short better. And of course, it's coming right back up. But like these highs, like that high, we can call it like the Fed high. Maybe that's not the right term for it, but that is that 2 p.m. top. And that's what I would be looking to trade off of. Something that gets back to that 2 p.m. top and gives you a shot to reload in front of it. You know, like that makes a lot of sense to me. We're about $1 away from it somehow on Square. So I am looking for something which gives you a better entry. I don't want to be short. This lower high, like it could work here off of 128, and maybe it's a scalp trade, but I would much prefer this at 129 where it was right at 2 o'clock.
I mean, we found one that we wanted to reload, and that was, we should have reloaded AMD, but we were too busy dancing with Rivian. Let's go. Boom, right there. There's another one, man. The Turkish Delight is in the building as we go to the downside right there. What a good take that was on Rivian right there. Short 20s, out 92 there, and we continue to make a move to the downside on that reload. Should have definitely reloaded AMD. That went right up, right to what Neil was talking about, right to those 2 p.m. highs again. I mean, it didn't go all the way, but close enough to those highs. What a good reload that would have been at 104.50 for AMD on that move. But hey, man, like I said, we're working with gas here with Rivian. I really think that is going to be a lower low soon on Rivian. I don't know about, lower low. I don't know if we get into here, but I think we could definitely get back to this 40 area again for Rivian. So let's see if we test that, especially if the market turns around. That was a nice move up. No doubt about that. And congratulations to anyone who caught the long. But again, I think it's a little overdone. We are now right back into a 50-cent winner on Rivian. So I think we found a good one there. Oh yeah, baby. Here we go. Trader Prad getting jacked up over there. This is what we're talking about. We like these moves back in. So Rivian, let's take another piece out, man. Again, another 50-cent winner right here. What's up, Brendo?
All right. Rivian, guys, if you missed it this morning, we were discussing the production targets after market yesterday. They came out and said, all is well. We're going to hit 25,000 this year, not today. Tech weakness. Let's talk about some tech stocks here. Wanted to mention growth names specifically. I mentioned Netflix. Square was one of them we were talking about in the pre-market there. But ARK specifically having itself a bit of a tough day. 5.5% back to the downside after a bit of the same move yesterday. But a bit of a bottom would appear to have been put in for ARK, guys.
Yeah, well, when the NASDAQ's going to bounce back and forth off those lows, I think it's going to take any growth name sort of with it, back and forth whipsaw action. It's not necessarily an ARK name, but I think along that theme, when you talk about growth or high valuation or no valuation type of names, when you find something like that, and I talked about that Fed high, yeah, I found one. Virgin Galactic was at the Fed high, and it was also at 11 o'clock. We came off fair, 9:15. Fail break, Fed high, 9:15. Short here in front of 9:15. And if it comes back into VWAP, even at 895, we can capture this move. And that was the thing, like knowing what we're looking for and then trying to jump back over to it. Now you can talk just about anything when it comes to the tech names, whether you want to go with ARK or just even talk about Tesla. Then if Tesla had gone to 1060, that was a pre-market pre-market low. That was that top of the Fed. That would have been a very similar trade. But down 4% and starting to bleed here. What I can say is Tesla, at least for its credit, when the market hit the low, Tesla didn't go to the low. You saw Square go all the way to the bottom before it bounced. Tesla put in a higher low. So there's at least some signs in there that maybe it's got a little bit of more strength in it in the can as the market tries to bounce to the upside. It's little things like that, like little signs of strength and weakness that you want to file away post-Fed, and then mark off these levels where liquidity came in after that big event. So 1060, 1065, those will be levels for me on Tesla, regardless of whether I trade or not. If I had to short, I mean, if I'm going to lose on a short, I'd rather it be Virgin Galactic than Tesla. I don't think that's actually going on any kind of a limb.
Yeah, on any limb there? No. Yeah, you always want to make sure, and again, that's what we talked about with those guys, is have a bias, and like that's part of it. Exactly what Neil just said there. Why would you want to lose your day shorting something that you don't have like not that we lose our day, but lose money period on a name
Tesla.
That you're not, you could on Tesla, yeah, that you're not convinced about there. GM with 52-week lows today, yuck, on that name. Let's have a quick look over there at Good Morning GM down here, and it's a big wake-up call for any investors here as this name just continues to get pounded to the downside. I'm way longer in Ford than we are in GM, but we're going to look at that. They're suffering the same fate, so it's not like it's one versus the other. It's not that at all. GM to the downside right now, and there's the 52-week low break from what I saw anyways. I saw, oh yeah, because right there, yeah, that's January, yeah, so it's just breaking what it was at a month ago or so. So these March lows right there. Let's go over to Ford and have a quick look because this is a name that I prefer to trade. And I was talking about this again today, that if Ford ever shows its face down below, come on charts, opens below this 15, because right now you're kind of barcoding between, I guess it's 17. I guess it's really barcoding between 18 and 15. But again, another low print here on Ford. And wow, we are starting to break lower. This is not 52-week lows on Ford, but you know, it's not far away. I mean, Ford, actually, it is pretty far away. Ford's 52-week low goes all the way back to $11 right now. But that was a call for Miss V. What's up?
Hey guys, we have 3,600 viewers right now. Welcome everyone. And I ask you, please like this video. It would be so nice of you if you help your community and get us at least 1K likes. Now let's go back to Sean and Neil.
Yeah, thank you very much there. And again, like you guys know I'm a science nerd, right? So when I'm not, well, it's not crapping on Virgin Galactic, but anything that's a hyper growth name that doesn't make money in this environment where valuation is going to matter, it's a low hanging fruit. It could have gone to a firm, but there was a story today on, Richard Branson, sort of saying back and forth with Elon that he'd like to go on a SpaceX and Elon could go on his, and either way, like it's just a name that I am comfortable going to. You'll see me flip to a firm, and I'll shout you out. Elizabeth Goodyear this morning, when talking about GM, I'm pretty sure I said, and correct me if I'm wrong, don't usually trade GM. It's not always a good day trading stock. And you did say to look at GM, although I think it was that joke about people putting in good morning. So people put GM for good morning.
Got it.
And yeah, you know, it would have worked out because look at how gorgeous that is. That is the definition of a failed breakout at the open, right? Like you're getting a pop through the high of the day, a couple of nice wicks on a 3-minute here, and then just a flush. So any of these shorts in here, they're great. That's something that you want to see almost every single time. You know where your out's going to be. Well, I mean, the way I would trade it would be, you know, you're 41, 41.10, your out's at the high of the day. You don't have to worry about knowing where you're wrong. Like, you know where you're wrong on that trade. So when you can identify that and then you have a bias, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, if you have a bias in a direction and you know where you're wrong, the rest kind of becomes a little bit easier, right, getting into the trade. Now, you can get in too far away from your out, but I think most people understand that you don't want to do that and how to manage it. Virgin Galactic is just now getting to VWAP, so it took the first out. I'm going to have bids down to 895, but for the shorts, it wasn't the case for the longs, but for the shorts, I want to hold on to something in case you break the low. And I'd rather do that for the short than the long. Like, you saw me like run to the hills on the square long or the block long, but you know, in the case of any of the shorts, I want to give them a chance in case we get back to those lows.
Yeah. Oh man, we tried to reload AMD, we didn't get it to the upside. So let's try to find something else. Tilray for me was a perfect trade today. This would have been my trade of the day for Tilray, just playing off these 50 levels that happened earlier on. Man, we nailed this one perfectly, and then took another shot and then right there. But just want to bring it back. It's not doing anything. I did say that if Tilray, was down here to 725, we could look at that. That's a little ways away right now. Eli Lilly taking out the top right now. Even though the market is kind of bouncing here, there still are lots of opportunities, man. AMD's dancing around like crazy. What's up, Elizabeth Goodyear there? Yeah, thank you again, Elizabeth Goodyear and Kathy yesterday with some nice tweets at me as well. So shout out to all of our viewers. We love you all. Long time. What's up, Brendo?
Heads up, guys. On Facebook, apparently Elon Musk, or Meta, I guess I should say, apparently Elon Musk just posted on Mark Zuckerberg's personal Facebook page and simply said, "Can I buy Facebook?" So, of course he did. Let's go to oil. I wanted to talk a little bit about oil here. Big move to the downside for oil today. When I wrote that on the board there, it was 4. It's now 5.2%. We're all the way back to 96.5 for crude oil. I brought up Oxy here because it was the one and only that was kind of positive out of the gate this morning. But we're back to basically where we started on the day, guys, for Oxy.
Oh, God, Oxy. Wow, Oxy, that's way worse than I thought.
I know we're joking about going long Facebook, but I am actually going to go long Facebook. On this 224.50 break, I was actually looking at it when Brendan brought it up. Not about the Zuckerberg. I don't really... Elon Musk, Zuckerberg stuff, whatever. But we are above here. The market's trying to trend higher right now. We are above some of these key levels. Let's cancel our AMD short and just think about a long right now. If it breaks this 224.50, which was the high right there, we obviously danced up to 225 on that break the first time with the market, obviously. We talked about that and the FOMC. So I think if you take out this 224.50 here on Facebook, it's been a level. I mean, if you really wanted to get conservative, it's more like 225, but we'll take a 224.50 long break here on Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook right now. But you do have this bottom that I would be concerned about, and that's just a 223 break. So if we do wind up getting long, we do have to hold this one a little bit further against us right now. Speaking of the devil, I am looking to get longer here. There we go. Now we're long. So we got long on the pullback. We're going to use 223 as a bottom for Facebook.
I'll never forget it, but I forget his name. And maybe you remember. I'll have to ask you this the other time.
Sure.
There was a trader, a full-time trader when I was a trainee. And if it was a trending market, he'd say short the pops, short the pops, short the pops. He was a guy that he went and opened a restaurant after trading. I forget the ilk.
I know exactly. He's tall.
Tall guy, black hair.
Skinny guy. I know exactly who it is.
There's things that I remember from being a trainee, and that sticks in my head. And he was yelling it not to everybody else. He was yelling
What's
it
his
to
name?
himself.
Raymond? Ray? Something like that?
That sounds
I think it's Ray. I think he's an Italian guy. I think it's Ray.
Okay, so anyways.
Pretty sure it's Ray.
That's the key. Like he'd yell. No, I think it's Ray.
I think so.
Yeah. So in the keys, you're yelling it out to himself to remind himself that he likes certain things in a direction. And so I went back to square there because you did have that curl, the lower high, right off 128. So I went and shorted in front of 128. And again, you find a key level, you like the direction. We'll place them out to VWAP. At this point, I think rinsing and repeating is going to make sense. The other thing that was going on, too, is this is the Qs, right? So there's your Fed high, there's your lower high, there's your wick top and a bit of a curl. Look familiar? There's your Fed high, there's your lower high, there's your curl right after. So if you find a pattern like that, it's just a matter of having the stock that you want to go short. Dr. Strange, sell the rips, buy the dips. Like, yeah, it's just whatever works for you, man. I just, short the pops was just, it just stuck in the head. Short the pops, short the pops, short the pops. And he'd be reminding himself that, like scalping like a maniac probably. And then back then they had to buy bullets for everything because I don't think any shorts were free. This was like 02?
Just a while ago.
Oh, well, yeah, anyways, it doesn't matter.
Anyways, yeah, good call there, and that's part of like sticking with
Ray.
Your conviction. Yeah, it's Ray. I'm almost certain that was Ray. Okay, so we're stepped into Facebook long right now, 223.40. This is gonna be a 40-cent hit if it has to be to the downside right now. So we are gonna get out. Whoa, that was a nice little pop up there. So here we go. We'll see if we can get some out on Facebook sitting on the offer. No, we do not get that, but we'll see if we can get it now. There it is. A nice little instant win there on Facebook. Wow, we're doing it again, guys. Nice little win there for Facebook off 223, out some 60s. The way this thing moves around though, like we got to be happy taking out some profit here. We're long in a falling market, so let's hold out for Facebook here. Now we've taken out 30% for 40 cents. Let's see if it comes in now here. FB trying to go long right now, and we're trying to get there's some outs. Yeah, buddy, outs in the 70s. Facebook, let's go. We're doing it again today, man. Another good day to trade here. Long 22, 23, 30 on Facebook. Hey, man, this could break, but we just got out of half right now. We're in scalp mode. Neil just talked about that. So a couple outs there on Facebook. If this takes down 223, watch out for the downside.
So, like, I know there's market, small caps that are moving a little bit, and that's what I'd be looking at in the afternoon show. It's like, what's breaking to the highs? What's that crazy mover? There's some out there, but the overall market's giving you some ins and outs, right? Like, we're now about $1 on Square here, and I'm going to go ahead and lock it in once we get another shove down. But I am watching a few, like ATR. I see you guys talking about it. Volume not there yet. Not nearly at that $3.50 price. I think that's going to be the key. It gets there, I'm going to be all over that one. SBFM I'm in and I actually want to get more of, but you're not seeing it do anything. Like, it's barcoding, and the longer it does this, the less I like the shallow short at 7, which is go back to the 750. So you've got to trade what is moving. And right now, it is the overall market. It is some of the bigger cap stocks. And I think that's why we're going to gravitate toward those. If something else is crazy, then throw it in the chat, right? Like, we'd love to talk about it or go over it. I saw people talking about Walmart at that high. Crazy top on Walmart. I don't know if there's going to be a trade on Walmart when I call it up here, if it wants to load. But, yeah, it's right at the high of the day, 187%. It's up 1.9% now. But if you look on the daily, like, look at it. It's a great breakout happening in Walmart, although I know if you pull it back, it hasn't gotten to that 157 top. But there's so many things that are moving. You've got to pick your spots, especially post any kind of a market event like this. I'm going to usually go to something I've already been looking at and already been trading and has established levels that I'm familiar with. But I get it. There's tons happening out there. Walmart, good shout out.
Yeah, Facebook broke and we got out of that one, so we'll flush our. I mean, whatever. We took profit on it, but ultimately we got barbecued up a little bit there with Facebook. And again, no problems with it. We were in and out, and then it did take out that bottom, so we wind up losing that 30 cents. But we took 30 cents on half of it, so it's a flat trade. I'm just more pissed off because now it goes up to the upside there. It hit our level, man, and we should have used these bottom wicks at 80. Like, if we used 80, we'd still be in this name and like just cruising to the upside. But yeah, I roll my eyes here because we are out of it, unfortunately, for that. Yeah, I feel like it's a little dangerous trading right now. The market has no idea what it wants to do, and I think you got to take that in consideration every time. Like, this is the market right now. It's just like it just made that level there at 14,550, comes right back down in. So you're like in a 50 to 60 handle range here on the futures, and it's not doing anything. Like, big move up here on the note, then back, we're talking about the FOMC minutes, then all the way back down, and now it's just like, not doing lots. So I don't know. Oh man, that's Facebook sucks, because now it'd be 75 cents in the money on that one, but whatever, we're out. So spilt milk again, we're not gonna try to cry over it. But what we are thinking about doing right now is maybe loading back AMD, but AMD is now above the 50 period moving average. So I don't know if this is gonna be a short after all, guys. So right now I'm nervous about doing anything in this market. And that's that. So if AMD does break below this level 103.50, then I think we take it. But other than that, we'll start a baby. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even really want to start a baby position. I want the NASDAQ to pick away, and then we'll go with it. So for right now, I'm all hands off until I can figure out what this market wants to do. I'm still pissed off about Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I got stopped saying I'm getting less and less bearish, if it even makes any sense, on Square, because every time in this range, it cannot seem to get through that bottom. The new bottom, the higher low, is about 126.5. I already wanted to get out in front of it. I might get a bit more aggressive, but I don't want this retaking that 129 high. If it gets there, then I'm out, and I'm trying to re-engage at that price. It's going to keep the stops tight, and then try and re-engage these levels. I think there's going to be a chance on that SBFM. It's kind of grinding higher. It does one good pop, and I think we'll get the fade, Brendo.
SYK, we spoke about in the pre-market, guys. There was who was it? Spruce Point with a short report on this one this morning. This thing spiked all the way down to 240, 238. We're back to almost green on the day for SYK. They responded, said it's all a bunch of garbage, and they're doing just fine. Thank you very much. So SYK back to day highs.
All right, SYK. We're talking about Costco making new highs here, and all the way to the top on the daily chart. A crazy stock, Costco in here. All right, so again, I'm waiting for 223 reload on Facebook to give it back down here, 280. I don't know if that's going to come through, but hey, man, I can't preach patience and then not use it. So we're going to try to watch out to see if if Facebook gives me that opportunity to get a little bit of revenge, because we did get out on that 23 break, and that sucks. Like, we lost 30 cents there when, honestly, it's right here. We could get back long, but it's already shown us this bottom, so I want to see if we could pick it up a little bit closer, put on a little bit more shares, and then trade that accordingly. But I'm debating Microsoft here on a long. Microsoft's still down that 3.5% today and trying to go. So I kind of think, like, if Microsoft, let's just zoom this back out a little bit more here. Sorry about all these wicks up here. There's nothing we can do about it. If we take out VWAP, which is $300.75, which is getting very, very close to doing that, then I don't mind this long whatsoever. So we could take a shot here on Microsoft, maybe just going long even right now. It doesn't look like the market wants to come back down. We're already down 2%. So I feel like that's enough, but you know, the market will tell me if it's enough or not. Let's start a position here on Microsoft. We do have the out down here at 299 if we do break it. So that's 299 though. Ugh. Okay, that's a little lower than I would hoped. There goes Microsoft right now, taking out some of those highs. So yep, let's see where we go here. Softy back to highs. I should be long this name, and I'm really pissed off about Facebook. But what can you do?
That's what happens, man. Like, I had a chance to get that dollar after the 50-cent scalp. I had a chance to get the buck on square. I wasn't quite aggressive enough, and now, like you said, take the stop out, get it at about break even, because if it breaks the level, you're likely to test that Fed top, the 129, right? Like, you've got to take your out when it's there, because the market's going to come to you. That's what happens after we get this increased volatility after the Fed minutes. And it doesn't mean we have to break the highs. I know we're getting pretty close. The NASDAQ actually still below 14.6, so there's a bit of room to go there. But that one didn't work out. Well, it did work out. We got a winning trade, but it didn't follow through as a word. And Virgin Galactic is also not going to follow through, right? Like, it comes down into VWAP. We're able to get half, and then you're going to see it pop right back in. It still has a chance to curl off these levels. Our average price was at 15 or 14, but we did get some at 13. We got some at 16 for a blend on the way back to the downside. That's what happens when you chase it down. But if it does fail here, I could reload this trade a little bit sooner, because it's tighter to the top than block was. Just as simple. So if we don't get through 920, then I'll probably just pop back into this, as long as we're not actually breaking the high in the Qs. We break the high in the Qs, and I really don't even want any of these names to the short side. SBFM is the only one it's different. It's small cap.
Yeah, AbbVie still at its all-time high as well of 168 right now. We talked about Roku a little bit. I'm trying to see DraftKings, maybe. Let's take a quick look at DraftKings right here. DKNG, see what they're saying into today's market. I don't know what anybody's saying today, but DraftKings right now down. Ooh, a nice little pop upside. So that's why I was sort of triggering here. A nice move to the upside there on this news of the market trying to battle back. So is DraftKings, and DraftKings coming in right here to 18 bucks. Not bad. Again, we're above. Good bottoms there on DraftKings. Let's check out Palantir, another name that, now that we're looking at Cathie Wood type names, again, just trying to find names that maybe popped up that should be weak on a day like today. Palantir, that's a 1 day, so we're not worried about that. Yeah, not doing anything really. That's a decent high there. If we like to short into Palantir, you could short it off of 1320 right there. That looks like a decent level for that. But again, I'm just right with this market not doing much here. I'm kind of just like hovering around to try to figure out, what do we want to go long, what do we want to go short. Rivian's back at a reload spot now, but I'm waiting until in the 60s. We talked about that. So if Rivian does pop back up, we will get a short back in on RIVN. But yeah, what's up, Dinesh? I don't know what you're long right now, but I'm trying to get long Microsoft. Okay, here it comes. It's coming back in a little bit here. We're waiting back in the 50s, but I don't know if that's going to come through or not. But right now, Microsoft just dancing around. This may be a decent spot to get long, as we are above VWAP right here, looking at 300 in the face. So that's where I like to get long. We'll see if it fades back in. What's up, Brendo?
I heard Trader Pred talking about this one. Levi's, guys, just popping up on some volume here. off of a decent earnings report, it would look like. So back to essentially day highs or session highs, trying to hold some key levels on the daily chart. So Levi, decent volume, not a name we look at very often, but decent volume today for Levi.
No, and it's probably one of those names that we should only look at when it has earnings, or when there's that type of a catalyst anyways. I mean, sometimes it doesn't have to be earnings. We took the stop on Square. We said we'd look for that Fed high, 129.5. It just got there. I shorted in front of 29. If it breaks the high of the day, my stop is in place. Hands are off the keyboard. Well, my hands are on the keyboard for other things. But if it gets through there, we're just going to get out. We're right at 14.6 on the NASDAQ. Last thing you want is to give things back. You're going to give a little back, but you don't want to give it all back by getting in front of a jailbreak. If you break one of these, this is actually that price area, that 120, 128, 129 on the way down where there was an out as well. So if we break from here, it can get pretty dicey. 20s just went on Virgin Galactic, so that just broke up. We're able to get the first leg, a couple of legs there, and now you're jailbreaking to the upside. Could also happen for Square here in just a couple of seconds, although it is holding forward, at least for the time being. That Facebook, wow, 225, you gotta be kidding me. Let me go back to...
Facebook is 225?
Well, is it? Yeah.
Oh, man, we got out $1 ago. That was the long we wanted, and we had it, and it broke. Facebook, whatever. I'm thinking about the same thing right now with AMD. I am debating going short right now. If the NASDAQ does fail off this, we could have a monster winner on our hands here for AMD. Let's see if that does come through right now. The market, though, still ticking higher. Like, I don't know if we want to go short at all right now, but AMD would be a good candidate as you are right back into some of these pre-market highs right here. I guess that's during the market. That's 105.25 coming for AMD. So I'm debating putting on a short right now. And after that, I'm not debating anymore. We are short right now. AMD at 105. Let's see where we go. We have that 105. What was that high? 105.30 or so. So we'll average into this, but a little bit closer to that. We put on a position now. We'll double down as it gets closer to upside, and then we'll have to watch out for like a 105.50 break to make sure that we're wrong on this.
Yeah, so there goes Square. Like, it broke that top. Once it gets through, I'm out of it now. Look, it is a pretty strong reversal, and we're through that key level. It's easier for me to do this way. We're through that key level on the NASDAQ, 14.6. The wick high, now I'm really talking about the morning. There was a wick about 50 points higher. So we are in a zone where you could still see a secondary I guess, failure at this particular point. Like, you could still reject the top end of that range, but you've already broken out in the name I was trading. So once we're in that range, I'll get out. If the futures want to reject this level, you can always jump back into a trade. You don't have to hold through. That's the key. There's nothing forcing you to hold through, even with Virgin Galactic. Like, I don't have to hold through all of that. The lower high got breached. If we reject on the NASDAQ and we start coming back in, going to probably be able to get this trade right back on. I just don't want to get caught in a jailbreak, and that's going to be the key for me. SBFM, by the way, yeah. When the market really flushed, this did come down more, but it's really not bouncing off of VWAP. This thing looking like it's primed to fall over. I was willing before to offer in front of 7. I pulled that off when the market started going, but it's not going with it. So if I can get more in front of 7 even, it's vastly different from shorting it at the high of the day, but 7 would be the stop. I'm going to go ahead and try to get back into this name. It's calmed down some, and with the market screaming, it's not screaming, so there's really no concerns of that side of it.
Yeah, so we don't have too many concerns either, but one problem is about to get spicy here was AMD. AMD is going to take out this 105.50. This will be fine for us. We are short now, 105.13, and here it goes right up to the upside right now, taking it out. There it is, we're gone. So a little bit of a hit there as, yeah, man, we went bearish when we should be bullish right now. The market is going upside. I'm still on tilt from that FB trade, but we'll move on from that one and hopefully be able to find some bigger winners now as, there we go, AMD just retraces all the way back to the upside. Still a positive name for us, but that's the last time. We're not going to try any more shorts. The market's already telling us what it wants to do. It's now above the 50 period. Why we're even looking short here is crazy. And then let's just review that Facebook. Yeah, now it's at 226 off of our 223 long. So we definitely picked the right stock, but we did get stopped out. Now Facebook, like, I mean, I would think this is another long taking this out, but who knows, man. Facebook right now trying to work to the upside. Missed Microsoft long. Shout out to Dinesh. I'm pretty sure you had that long. Oh, I missed the punch by a couple pennies, but hey, it's a good day. The market's going back to the upside. Some of the shorts getting clocked, and that's why we're out of them. So just trying to find some more names. We always see like Apple at some of these levels, but yeah, that's made, yeah, Neil's looking at that as well. That just made a nice, oops, AAPL. That just made a nice move back up and take out the day's high as well. Oh, man, I wouldn't mind some of these to come back in a little bit here as the market is definitely off.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at Apple thinking, okay, 173 is we're trying to take off here. And you go with the, when you reverse the trend, you start thinking about what was the previous level that you would have been shorting on a consolidation, and then that becomes an entry point for a long. So Apple, 73, 72. If we based at any of those levels, they look pretty good. Apologies for the 76 wick. Maybe it means we're going to 176. Who knows? That'd be fantastic. I doubt it. But 173 will be the first look for me on Apple. That's the first thing I could find. And obviously, some of the names that I like to the short side, yeah, I'd rather go with something that I'm a little more convicted with for the long. I mean, we're going to follow the market with Apple here, generally speaking, whereas Square's still down 4%, right? It was leading to the downside, whereas Apple is ahead of the overall market, or at least going a lot closer to it. Like the NASDAQ's down 1.3, the ES is down only half a point. But remember, the ES is down half because there's so many ridiculously strong, there's strong retail names out there. We're talking about Walmart and Costco's. Man, those two stocks are gangbusters today.
Yeah, healthcare.
Square's now $2 higher. Give me a break.
Yeah, Square, some of these stocks are nuts right now. But okay. Again, maybe a possible reload in Rivian. I mean, the highest Rivian ever got in this rip was 22. So let's try a small position here on Rivian. We'll just punch that in there and get filled at 10s, I guess, there, as now it's starting to go back up, which is fine. Our real position on Rivian, we're going to see if it takes down 42 at some point. So we are waiting here in the 70s, like we said, to get short on Rivian. But we'll just punch a short right now. We are now back into that name, short Rivian right now. If this market comes back in, great. I'm like now I'm thinking like, okay, we go short now in case this is the top. We can go short again on AMD, but how many times? Like we were short here, which was actually right. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Rivian's been a good trade for us. Sorry, AMD's been a good trade for us. So right now, we'll see what happens. There's the fall back down. We could have, whoa, what am I doing? I got to cancel those bids. We just got filled on some bids here for AMD. So what am I now, long on AMD O2s? We don't mean to have that long. So we'll get out right now. But AMD now coming back in. Isn't that crazy? Like my bid just got filled off these shorts that we liked. So yeah, AMD comes right back in there. So hey, the calls have been right. It's the timing for me right now, which came up in our meeting. Someone asked me about timing. I was like, it's not that important. But right there, AMD right now got out on that top break, made new tops, and came right back in. So maybe we can find some shorts in this market, Brendo.
Of note here, guys, for Amazon, obviously not one we trade too often, but the SEC investigating Amazon for business practices. So a bit of a sell volume candle coming in here at that high from the Fed earlier in the hour. So Amazon to the downside here.
Right. You never want to write off those SEC investigations, but keep in mind, especially when it comes to competition for the big tech, they're kind of under that. They got them under the thumb for that all the time, and you see this over and over again. Apple did pull back into 73, put a little bit of a curl on. So, oops, I was just watching Square, didn't realize I had it on a different level too there, guys. So I had to flip this one for you guys. Yes, it tried to just put a little curl on at 173. So again, just like we were doing before and trying to catch that bid, if there's two levels we like, I'm going to stop out at the first and then hunt back for the second, and that's going to be down at that 172.
Just had a little drink there. Market coming to the downside right now as Rivian. We just got out of Rivian there for 15 cents. You just saw me take that short. We're going to hold the rest. I don't know. 15 cents is not that much, but Rivian trying to make some bottoms here. And if it does, I still think we can, starting to make some tops there at 41.20. So we did short again Rivian, and we just got it out at 40.94. 1/3 of the trade. We're going to see if we can come back even lower here on RIVN. We did have a higher situation on Rivian. We thought we could get a little bit better there into this level, but that never came through, so we'll short Rivian one more time. I did one negative stock that we have on board today is Intel, but it just bounced off 48 again. It did take 48 though, which was a trade that we were sort of thinking about taking long. But you could see as the market comes back in right now, maybe that was the high of the market that was just put in there. It was definitely the high of the afternoon. It actually goes right back to the exact level that we opened at. Can you believe that or not? The exact level that we opened at was where the market just went right to before turning on a dime. So, oh man, that was a good trade for us to possibly look short there on that top of AMD. I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to get a chance to reload this Facebook trade. Maybe even right here isn't a horrible reload for Facebook. And then we use 224 as our out. But again, we're trying to be patient. Let's let it fall back in where we know there's some levels down here. I'm going to try to be patient as right now. Yeah, buddy. A nice movie. Hey, you know what? Patience or not, let's put a bid here for Rivian, see if it takes down 76 there, and we'll get out. Did we get hit there? No, we did not. We didn't get hit at 76, but let's see if it takes it down. A 40 cent winner for Rivian if we do get that bid. So that's going to be a good one as we look for the short. It pretty much printed everything at 76 there except for us, so hopefully it comes back down and gives us that fill one more time. Rivian trying to make some cash on this short. That's what that is as we wait for Facebook to come back to 223.
Yeah, I started to think about like where, like it's one name for one direction, other names for another direction. I think that's one thing that we've been kind of talking about here. But I was long at Square 125. However, like it's been an overall, I like the short. And that's the last three things that we've been doing on it. Whereas I tried Apple at that 173, it couldn't hold. But Square comes all the way to the pre-market bottom, that 131. Remember 131, 132 goes right there. Wick top, consolidation. When you saw the ES and the NASDAQ both put on the same thing. Right at the same time, you got that same wick high on all three, well, the stock and then both futures indexes. So if we get a rollover, I'm thinking 129.5, I'm thinking 128 back down in here. And like maybe I could have just said anything that was at the high, but going to what you feel comfortable with. I guess I could have gone to like Virgin Galactic and had a look. But Square we've been probably the most active on, at least I have today. So I wanted to go back into that well and then make sure we capture this trade. If it gets to 129.5 or even close to it, we'll see if we can't get that first leg out. There are other things moving. I know you were talking about Tilray a little bit because you had that great trade this morning. So it's not, and we're not ignoring some of these names, but like all it's doing is going sideways and kind of coiling. If something like this were to break, and I was watching DraftKings as well, like you get a breakout from a consolidation, great, and it can be on your radar for those breaks, but until it makes a move, when the market's going crazy, the things that are not breaking out are not the things that you want to be trading here. Twitter, yeah, man, that stock was gangbusters last couple of days, but is this really moving? Have we even tested out of this range on Twitter? Not a chance, and it's right in the middle. Nowhere near those highs, nowhere near those lows, and not breaking in either direction. There's almost no reason to trade this unless you like giving money to the market makers and the algos, which, whatever floats your boat. Brendo?
I was just going to mention Newegg here, guys, but I also saw this one. Robinhood back to the upside after a big flush today, all the way down to 12.10 once again for Robinhood. A little bit of buy volume coming back in, though, for Hood, guys. But Newegg back to day highs. Huge move for NEGG today.
Newegg, okay, yeah, they've always had some rumors behind them. They're a huge short interest.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So let's have a look. NEGG, this is a name that we could definitely trade. We are looking for some actionable events here. And the one thing is, if you're looking for, look, there's been a lot of action today in the afternoon. We've made a lot of trades. So I hope that you're enjoying them and you're following them and so on and so forth. But, you know, the thing about it is, at the closing show, it is kind of hard. Today, we have lots to trade. There's lots of stuff happening, but these are the kind of names that you are looking for later on in the day, names that have moved and making some moves, possibly up some percentages, doing more average volume than normal, daily average volume, what you're looking at there for Newegg. But on a daily chart, obviously, it's a bump up here. Oh, man. I mean, you could short it at 9 there. That was the high of the day. This is not normally a style that I like to trade, but you probably have to pay for shorts on this one. But Newegg, the $9 short, here it comes through. So if you like the $9 short, you have to like the $9 break as well. So that could be something to look for. Newegg here trying to break through 9, which would be a decent level, obviously. After that, I'm always like looking for quarters than 50. So my levels would be 9, and then upsize that 9, 925, 950, so on and so forth. I think we might try this. Let's try a break here of Newegg through 9.
I'm going to pay for the short, so I'll ring the register a little bit, and, I hit the wrong one. I can't floss. That's the only time you'll see me floss is in animation form. I did get that mid on Square, 129.5, now looking for 128 to 128.5 for the rest, It is only 1 cent a share for locates on NEG, not Newegg, whatever. I'm not going to call it NEGG. But that $9, because it is a wick top, parabolic, understand there's a 17% short interest, so be careful with it. But it's a clean out at $9. You know where you're going to be wrong. And it's twice tested it. Now it's going to be the third time. So if it doesn't break here or does a quick failed break, which it's breaking through right now, is it going to fail? Is it going to fail? Bids at 4 or 5. It's trying to come back down a couple of times here. Nope, still holding the bid at 9 even. Only if it fails to get through like 10 to 15, then slams back down through 9. That's the way I would have wanted to short it. But if you paid for the shorts, my hands are off now because you're seeing it start to continue through. So that short back below 9, ooh, it could be on now. If it holds an offer below, then I'm going to like it. But there it is. Gimme.
So there's the break. Yeah, there's the break. We didn't get any fills. We went long, a small position there on NEG. But I guess, yeah, it's just printing 96s now. It looks like that was the failed break there. So like I said, if our first look was going to be 25s, then our out has to be a little bit down here. Let's just zoom in a little bit more so we don't get absolutely crushed here on this. Let's take a 50-cent hit on it. I mean, we were going to get 925s, then 950. So breakthrough 850 here on NEG, we'll get out. Breakthrough 850 on Newegg, and we'll get out here when we do have an offer up near 925.
I know what I did. And you could hear it too, because you could hear me hit the key twice. So I paid for shorts, but that means you can only put the offer, like you can't get. So once that one was out there, even though it's not filled, it's a pending order which counts against your short.
Yeah.
So when I tried to hit it for a couple of cents lower, the other order was still out there, and it's like rejection. I'm like, why am I not getting filled? Well, because your order rejected, Neil, and I should have known better. But yeah, that's essentially that sort of wick top. I wanted to get in there at like 98.99. Now I'm not going to chase it 15 cents down. That's not the entry I'm looking for. So, real time. Things can happen to you there, and that's a keystroke on my part. Like, all I have to do is, I have a hotkey. I literally have a hotkey for that situation, which is cancel closest bid, cancel closest offer, so that I know if I want to get rid of something like that, just boom, boom, I can cancel only on that stock what's sitting upside and making my order reject. Square's still trying to work here. The futures side by side, like, this is what I love to see. Like, you're still getting that wick top, consolidation lower on the NASDAQ. Maybe you can't see that. It's not big enough there. There you go. Like, wick top, consolidation. It's basically going to follow the futures here. Futures go to the high, we get out. Futures drop off, we're going to get that next level. So I love when you have a leading indicator which is working for you and you have a stock that you have a bias in. Those are two things that definitely work well together. So we kind of know where we're going to be wrong there. I'm not going to get away from Newegg, but I also don't want to I don't want to chase this too far down. It's still in the top end of the range, and there's always a chance it does another push into 9 even. Like, you see this all the time. The volume's still pretty solid on it, so it might still give an entry.
Just getting ready to rock and roll here with Palantir. We have a new position alert here. We're doing that. Okay. PLTR right now. Might not be a great idea, but we'll try it. Right here to the long side. So we are long right now at 15. We'll see what happens. You are above this 50 period. We did hold up okay on Palantir. So we are going to go long this name with an average in. Our out's going to be this bottom wick, which was 07. So if we take down 7 on Palantir, then we will get out of that one. But again, this is just, we're trying something here. It's our first time into Palantir. And again, the only reason we're making this trade is, I think the market, as long as we stay above this sort of 50 period here on the market and we kind of hold these levels of 14, I guess it's 14,550. If we hold that, we held there, we came back in, those were the tops. Once we broke it, we haven't seen any lower. So as long as we hold that, I think we can find some stocks that are now trading pretty good for us above the 50 period. So we'll try Palantir. We do know it's down 5%. We would much rather be longer in other names, but this is doing okay, especially the fact that we have that wick bottom. So let's try Palantir long, and next average in right now at 10 coming through.
It's been a volatile year. We're going to discuss a few things here today that will give you a little bit more of an edge to keep yourself safe in volatile market conditions. The market did change going into this year. Things are different. Volatility is high. That means liquidity has dried up and ranges expand, guys. Let's give them a few tips here on how to trade volatile markets.
Absolutely. And you've heard us talk about something on the show. It's like, oh, I like this price area. I got an area stop. I'm going to go manually on this trade. Watch how it trades when it gets to this price. In a more volatile market, sometimes have a stop.
Yep.
And if you don't use stop orders, then understand that there are definite places where you need to have them in there, and especially at very, very key price areas. I'm going to show you one on Twitter, right? Because the better trade on Twitter was the long breakout, but I did like the short. And again, it had failed at 55. It's got nice volatility. I'll pull it up so you can see the real volatility. The gap up on Twitter, huge movement, but see this top that it made at 51.5 on the first day when it made the gap up? It then turned into support just below that at 50.60 right here. So when it pulled back 50.50, I said, that's a failed break at the high. I love that short. I'm going to short in front of that level. But look at what can't happen. It cannot even take out the first level of support, 49.50. Kept going down there. You're scalping some out, scalping some out. But when it gets to this price, it is jailbreak from this level. It doesn't think about what it wants to do when it breaks the previous day's low in the afternoon. It just screams to the upside. Now, you don't have to reverse the trade. I reversed it there at that level. But if you don't stop out there, all you're going to do if you go manual and say, how is it going to trade around that area? In a 15-minute chart, like the second candle, it goes $1.30. If you're thinking about how it trades when it breaches that price level, all you're doing is throwing away extra money. It's a key price. It got breached. You get out. You don't have to reverse it. But sometimes stops in a volatile market are going to save your butt.
All right, yeah. I'm going to do a little bit more, macro style here. And I feel like in volatile markets, the one thing that you don't want to do, and again, it's going to be based on your own risk, parameters and how you're feeling. But why are you holding anything overnight? I feel like that is also another problem where a lot of traders, they see major moves here. And I'm just going to call Rivian up for an example. Like if you went long on this day here because you're like, uh-oh, we're back, baby. We're going to test the 50 period. The next day, I'm thinking it's going to go higher, higher, higher. And then you have one. Maybe you don't get out the next day, but then all of a sudden, you just start ticking lower, lower, lower. And remember, this is volatile market. So I really feel like that tip of not holding overnight can really save a lot of accounts. And I'm not talking about, the Longeverons or some of these kind of like meme stocks. I'm talking about trying to make plays. And another one, what about AMD here on a daily chart? Again, it's like when you have volatile markets, the best thing really to do is to wait until you get some of these tops and or bottoms, because then you can participate in these upside moves. If we know the market is volatile, then why exactly? And again, it's not really cherry picking. The markets have been volatile for a while, but it's like, why are you buying AMD in here? Like 110, 114, 115, when you're probably not getting out if it makes moves all the way to the top because you're like, okay, I have the bottom and you want this thing to retrace higher. But again, a lot of us will hold until these ultimate bottoms break. So in a volatile market, guess what? Those bottoms are more likely to break than at any other time. So I watch out for that. And then not only that, another thing to watch out for too is, we're going to talk about 3 tips, and that is sometimes you get what we call a bear market rally. And it doesn't mean it's going to last forever, but you see a downward move here, and then obviously a huge move to the backside because there's a lot of traders caught off guard being short. So now you get that move right back to these levels here on the NASDAQ, and now you're seeing a fade back in. So kind of the same thing I want to talk about for your index positions. You don't need to put on tons of risk to make money. It's better to wait for levels and don't get caught in some of these bear market traps back to the upside. So a couple tips there for volatile markets.
That leads me to a fourth. We'll do a bonus round. Why not, guys? And that is very simply size down. Use less shares. If you're not comfortable, you have too many shares. Just use less. It's very simple to say that, but it's very hard when you consider what we came out of into what these markets are today. So great tips there on how to trade more volatile markets. Moxian, one to have a look at here, guys. Just popped up on a volume scanner. Just double checking on this, but MOXC, one from way back when, just goes 2 up to 280 on a volume spike, guys.
You always want to make sure we're getting to what is moving, but the overall market is starting to roll back to the downside here. So we'll do this.
Ooh,
catapult ourselves. I love that one. But the square's starting to roll back over. There was a small chance at a reload. I did give it a shot there on this last little spike, but missed my chance at about 130.25. I was sort of sitting up there and missed it. But like I said, 128, because it's been putting in those higher lows and then it broke the top. I'm going to stick with that, right? Unless we're unless we're breaking through 14.5 and we haven't gotten here yet, maybe I'll pull it back to VWAP, but I'm sticking with the bid in front of 128. The last time it did this, remember, I got the first scalp and then I wasn't willing to take it at the bottom end of the range here, and you saw it then stop out the rest. I don't want that to happen, so the other thing I can do is not allow it to jump back between above 129 and sort of lock in that dollar. So a trailing stop, we just talked about stop orders. Another type you can use is a trailing stop when the market's whipsawing around. So I've got a trail at 129, my target's down at 128. It allows me to cancel the bid if I like to short more out of pure comfort because I know my trailing stop is in there. SBFM, I did get the reload in front of 7, so average price now 692. It's trying to take out 7 even, so I've tightened the stop up here, not giving it the high of the day. If we break out, then I want to be shorting it off the high of the day where we had it before. But it hasn't broken just yet, but could any second now.
All right. Unfortunately, again, down goes Palantir, and we did take the hit there on that long, but we've reversed into the short now, and we're just going to use the opposite thinking here. Again, you know, we are below now, so we went long thinking that we would hold this, but unfortunately, like I said, as we were doing that, they're talking about volatile markets, we did break lower again here, but you know, like, I don't want to lose a whole bunch of money. And not that we are. It's just like, why? Like, if we're still in this range, I feel like I don't really need to be making these trades. So let's just see what happens here. Hopefully the NASDAQ continues to tick lower. You know, the real trades should have been made, obviously, at some key levels there, like we talked a little bit about, hitting some of those levels on AMD to the downside. That really retraced. Like, remember we were short? Like, we were just short 105.30 on AMD and got taken out when it took down 50. Well, you know how much higher it went? 20 cents. And now you're in the money $2 on that short. So let's see if we can have the same fate. Rivian, bang! That one's a big winner for us as we reloaded that short. And again, we talked about, and this is what I talked about with the guys back there, have some conviction, and we knew we wanted to go short Rivian. So short on the pop, and then out right there again. So let's see here if we can continue to the downside. Rivian just touched 4. Like, I'm going to put another bid right here, man. If we can get like a 40-30 on Rivian, then let's just end that with another dollar winner there. We just cashed out a little bit on Palantir. We got some 04s or 05s there. 05s there, which is where it's at now. Hopefully we can come back in and don't have to worry about this 13-11 spot where our out is. But right now, Palantir trying to make some moves back down to the downside.
Yeah, exactly. And look, the market is still churning to the downside. So when we get that reversal off the high, if you got the shorts, you work them. ATER, someone just said is moving to the upside in the chat. I saw you. It's still not. It broke through 350. As you can kind of see, like, it's getting to these pre-market highs. It didn't quite get there, but that's actually closer than I thought. I thought it didn't break till 360, but it did get to, it looks like 358. So that is at the pre-market high, which I said I was looking for. I'm going to jump into this one, giving it to 360, that high of the day. But Brendan, I believe, has something.
I just saw Cassava Sciences popping back up, guys. Another one that's getting crushed so far today. 5% to the downside, a little bit of volume coming back in. Still a pretty ugly day. Also, Peloton coming out saying that they're programmed to finance a machine and also join the classes and pay the monthly subscription fee has expanded to a bunch more states. So good news for Peloton, it would appear. But yeah, still one of those days for Peloton.
I'm starting to get like at my breaking point with this Palantir, as I have a position on a decent one here, and like the market is going lower, and like all I can make on this trade is like 3 pennies, get out at some 04s, some 05s. Like, it's honestly, it sucks. Like, we went long. Oh, there we go. Now okay. Let's not talk about it. Maybe now it goes to the downside. Shout out to Henry, man. I'm sorry about this, but I feel like this needs to come down a little bit here, especially with this market. Why can't we retest some of these bottoms? So here we go. Let's see about a break now. We just got some 03s twice there on Palantir. So let's see if this wants to work to the downside. And again, like, I'm just upset that it's not going lower than this right now. So that might be an omen here to get something out of Palantir. But let's see if it continues to go to the downside. I'm trying to wait for a break of, there we go. Did we just get 2s there? Or do we get 3? Yeah, we got 2s there. Okay. Oh yeah, there. Now it goes through 01. So let's see about this trade right now. Palantir trying to make some downside moves.
Yeah, sometimes, man, like when you, like, forget about The Omen, which is a great movie, by the way. But take your profit when you get a bad feeling. And Dinesh just jumped out. I know he just put in the chat there that he got out of square. Look at the move in the NASDAQ, how far this is retracing back in from that wick high. So just like I thought earlier, square was, or block, was relatively weak. It's not even back to VWAP, man. There was an iceberg at 1285. It spent like 3 or 4 minutes trying to break through it. When it broke through, it went a whole whopping 20 cents before bid support came in. And guess where that support ended up being? Where were we shorting before? In front of 128. Now the buy support's in front of 128. So market heading to the lows. Square can't take VWAP. I'm just going to take the profit and run. We only have a half an hour left anyways, and I suspect there's going to be some movement at 350 because post-Fed day, wild market, more volatility, sometimes opportunities in the imbalance. I was fast enough on ATR. However, I was 99.9% sure, and I should have been 0% sure, that I'd already paid for locates on ATR. So yes, I said I was going to short it in front of 360. Apparently, I hadn't paid for shorts this morning, which usually isn't the case when I'm watching a stock. But either way, you see that retracement. It goes all the way into the pre-market high. Then there's your curl right back into 340. Looks like it's going to even get to VWAP there. So, a bit of a missed opportunity there. Preparation matters, right? I guarantee it's going to be less than a couple of cents a share, but you have to lock them in, trying to get it in that moment, and you will miss that moment, at least for us. I'm still in SBFM. It looks like still it wants to try to break out. Feels pretty safe knowing the 7 is your stop. It's better than 1-to-1 to be able to get in the range here at 650, but I want to hold some. If this takes out that bottom, I still think you can get to $6. Like that was the thesis we had when we shorted 750. Not really changing anything here except tightening the stop to 7.
Serenity now. Yeah, we're still waiting here. As Palantir, we just got some more O2s there. We're short 8. Like, we're making back what we lost. It's just like, I look at AMD, I look at some of these other trades. First of all, I'm going to cancel my Facebook trade. And just thinking like how fast those ones moved. And I should know Palantir. I mean, I sit here and trade it almost every day. I just thought that it would be a little more aggressive than this. But hey, it's a good short. It just sucks that we decided to go long first, or else we'd be really cruising right now. Microsoft is sub right now 300. So that's a level here that we might be able to look at here, sub 300, especially breaking lower. You could always use 300 as your out. That's where that 50 period is. But again, we're going to hold Palantir now. I don't even have any bids to go. So we'll see if it can take down, as I'm on Microsoft still, if Palantir could take down 13. I'm actually bidding 96 right now, right down here. We'll see if we get a 96 bid on PLTR if we break O's, Brendo.
Hey, it's Brenda number 2. Guys, just 30 minutes left until the end of the show. And please, we still are not at 1K likes. So if you didn't like this video yet, smash the like button. It's absolutely free. It takes 1 second. And again, we're educating, entertaining, anything you want. So we deserve your like, I'm pretty sure. Back to you guys.
And Valeria is in the official Arun Capital jacket, which I still think is a good idea for us to get some like NYSE floor style jackets to Trader TV. That'd be a joke. And for anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, I guess if you watch anything like Rogue Trader or anything that actually depicts what the New York floor, the open outcry floors used to be, like the Merc, like the guys had these loud jackets so that you could see like who was yelling out the bids and asks, and so you stood out. I think it would be kind of cool if we ever did that at some point, but I feel like that's one of those old school traders like it, and maybe other people are like, yeah, what the heck is he talking about?
Then we're just sitting there in jackets. We got to make it Rune wear it, and you know what he's like.
Oh, I don't know.
He won't wear that.
You don't think so?
No.
But he wears his lucky shirt every
he's here next
day.
week.
Yeah, we'll bug him about that next week.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, Brendan's actually taking time off, believe it or not, which, I mean, hey, that never happens, but Arun's going to be in there. I'll try to do my best to be Brendan, which is, it's asking a lot, but certainly I'll do my best, and we'll see what happens. I think the market's still going to be pretty active. We're going to start getting back into back into earnings season. Things quiet down and they speed back up. But right now, it's about the reaction to the Fed. On a top level, I think we mentioned this, but I don't think I've mentioned it here today. I'm going to pull up the daily on the Qs if it wants to even, it's behaving. Remember what's actually happened the last couple of sessions, right? Like we said this yesterday, bouncing off the 200, and where did we go today? 350, right in front of the 50 period. So you're bouncing back and forth among these levels. The question is, can we actually get a bounce off the 50 period on the Qs of any sustenance in the next couple of sessions and maybe retest some of those highs. But right off the 200, right into the 50 on your higher time frame charts, sometimes it's just good to have these up. Even if you're not trading the Qs, like that kind of a move might help you on if you're trading softy, if you're trading block, Apple, anything that might be following the market. When you get to these key levels and have these turnarounds, it might give you that extra layer of conviction for your trade. If you like a long and we're bouncing off the 50 in the Qs, maybe you like it a little bit better. And you hold on and give it more room on the stop, or you add into your share size because you have that extra layer of conviction. And we're watching that level tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Like, make your notes. I can't believe AMD is still falling down here. AMD just continues to go to the downside, and that was a name that we definitely liked to the short side for sure, but missed that opportunity to short AMD. Well, we didn't miss it. We had the damn short, and then we got blown out, and that's part of the problem here. Okay, now goes Palantir. I was trying to reload Palantir. Unfortunately, we don't have the reload, so yeah, nothing to really worry about now, but we were trying to reload Palantir there, and we don't have it. So, yeah, it didn't get going. We were trying to get this at 07. It didn't happen. Now Palantir takes down 01. Well, it doesn't take down 01s yet. Let's see if it does want to make that move to take down O's coming up very, very soon. PLTR. Rivian still 50 cents in the money down to the downside. Well, just starting to go down to the downside, I guess. I still think that this is a good out here in the 30s. So we will put a bid there. Let's put a bid there soon for Rivian down in the 30s in case we do get that flush. Remember, we have the imbalances coming out at 350. So that will definitely influence the market. Wow, Tesla is a name that just continues to go to the downside here. Really not showing too much love for any of these bumps, as Tesla right now still at those bottoms one more time. These are the Fed minute bottoms right here. 1045 breaking right now on Tesla. So that name seems to be a little sick here. So let's see where that goes. Yeah, there it goes, man. Breaking back down below. Yeah, Tesla really getting hit now down to the downside. Continued to make its move down 4.5%. Again, we've been down here before today. It's not like, oh my God, this is completely a new level for us, but that's a nice movement. It was just at 1050 and almost straight down now, $7 down to 1043. Tesla trying to get back into 1030. I hope that doesn't happen today. That means the market really crashes. Well, we're only short, so to be honest with you, I kind of do hope it happens, but Tesla back into this area again. Wow, this move,
well, this
name is pretty violent, needless to say. We can check out Twitter. I mean, what is Twitter doing?
It's still quiet,
yeah, it's still hovering near these highs. This is that level that we liked again before this morning. We hit this with only one trade today. Yeah, 50-60 bang right there. Nice take on that upside there of about $2. But right now, it's looking like it wants to break lower. So watch out for Twitter right here. 50-30 take on the downside. This market might just collapse here, which is fine, man. I'm not going to take any other shorts. I'm in a very good short here with Palantir and Rivian. Let's go Palantir. Take out these O's. I may put a bid on O's here just to take something out, but I am bidding 96s on Palantir.
I kind of said, only trade these things, and Twitter was one of them, if they break out of the range. Well, Twitter is trying to break out of the range to the bottom, and there's room to the low if it wants to flush. So, you know what? I'm going to go for it. Like, if we break that 30, I'll take it to the short side. I just got some out of SBFM, so we'll stack that. That's at that 666 we just went through. That's kind of an ominous number.
Like that.
It's weird. We're just talking about omens. And then, yeah, anyways, if you guys have seen that movie, it's a great one. But I just realized I have no clue how Valeria did in Tesla today, and I'm really, really hoping she captured that wick off top into 1080. 1080. Like, are you kidding me? It went right to 1080. That's the level that it spiked up to. Like, pull back. If you pull back and look, remember we were sort of talking about, the key levels, Square, Twitter just now as well for some of these key prices. Like 1080 has been like one of those polarizing levels. It goes like $5 in either direction, Tesla, but that's right up into yesterday's low, failing to get there and then rolling over $40 on Tesla. So like that's one of those things. If that's the stock that you trade, we love those types of rejections. I have no idea how Ms. V did on Twitter today. I'm not to put her on the spot if she's even listening to me right now, but that's the kind of thing that you want to be looking for if you're into that kind of a trade. like I just said, SBFM, it is starting to roll over, and I am going to take some off here. We're running out of time with 20 minutes to go. And this is why I favor holding some. If it breaks through this area here, this was its previous resistance. 660, 635, and then lower at 620. If it chews through that, it can easily fall into $6, and I want to give it some time to be able to do so. Like, it's working now, and you want to give it a chance to work. Got to scalp some out, because there's no way you want to profit nothing on a trade like this. But if you're able to get like that 30, 40, 50 cents and then try to hold for the 70 to $1 move, there's still time for it to work. All I have to do is adjust my stop. 7 is my breakout price, no matter what I'm getting out if it breaks through 7. But this I can hold on past 350 because it will not be on the imbalance locator, right? I'll drop and do 20 if SBFM has a big imbalance on it because there's 0% chance that it has more than a few thousand shares. Like these kinds of stocks, you're not worried about them at all unless they're in an index somehow, which never happens.
I mean, yeah, they'd be in.
Well, this thing, no,
not that stuff. But sometimes you get them in the IWM and things like that, the Russell and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, good talking, good call on SBFM right now. So, we did, when Palantir went down there, we did take those outs at O's and 01 there. We talked a little bit about that. So hopefully you guys were able to get something out. And now it's right back up, man. We are going to take some more shares at 08 and then just use this 10, 11 level as our out. The market is coming screaming, actually, right back up there. Like, look how long it takes, on this move down. Actually, it didn't take that long, but look how much it recovers in basically in 2 candles. We just covered this all the way back to where we were 10, 15 minutes ago on the upside. So one last try here. There we go. So now we're short in Palantir. We got a full position now on this name. So yeah, not happy about where it's going right now, but still can't be too upset with Palantir now. Let's see what it does up to 13.10. It's going to be a stock that we're going to be negative on, obviously, but we were able to get out here. So this is, again, long and out. We got out of Palantir, then we flipped to the short and was able to bank a little bit on the short. And right now we're looking at getting out again if it takes 11. So we're right at view up now. Our last average in happens right now. So let's see if that goes to the downside. I guess I could cancel my 96 right now. That's probably not coming through. So let's see where we go, man. Here we go. Palantir looks like it wants to take it out. As long as we resist that, we could check back on AMD right now, and that's right at these levels one more time as well. So I think we're just gonna rest on our laurels here. What we have is what we're going to stick with now and not really get into anything else. I'm dug into this Palantir. We take 2 more pennies and we're out, and then we can sort of think about maybe going long. But I'm not going to go short into anything else because if the market fails here, I'm confident in this position, at least retracing back here to 0203, which would give us a real nice win to end of the day on PLTR. So if this market retraces back, good, but we only have 10 minutes now until the imbalances, which could change absolutely everything.
Yeah, I'm with you. That small cap's the last thing. Well, we'll see about Square. Maybe it goes back to that high to be worth it. But CJ Kennedy's asked a couple of times. I want to get this one clear because he's asked, when we're saying we're buying shorts, do we need the access of a daily trader, 25K in our account in order to do those? So Sean and I, we're trading on a prop floor. So this is like Day Trade the World, hundreds of offices worldwide. You probably know the number. I don't know the number off the top of my head.
Between 3 and 4, yeah.
300.
400.
Almost 400 offices worldwide. They're prop floors, so you're trading firms' capital and you get a percentage of it. So it's a little bit different. Retail, yes, in order to short, you always have to have a certain account balance, margin. None of those things apply to us directly. When I say pay for shorts, it's because they're not easy to borrow. Almost the entire market, because we have I can't say our broker, but a tier 1 broker, almost the entire market is going to be free to short because of their inventories. But there are names which are less liquid, which you might not have borrows on. So there's a facility for us, if there's no free borrows, that we can request a quote, and then we say how many shares we would like to be able to pay for locates. And then it goes in, it takes about seconds to do, but you got to do it in advance. That's what happened to me on ATR. You pay for it, you get them in real time, and then you can use that amount as many times as you want that particular day, and then you pay for it. Regardless of whether you actually execute a trade, you have now paid for those locates, and they do come out of your P&L. But we're on a prop floor, so that's the process. It's not at all like retail.
No, and obviously we are trading in the lovely country of Canada, so we don't even have PDT rules or anything
that's
like
the other
that
thing.
here as well. But just to give you guys an idea, in case you're wondering, where are these jokers from? We're from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Right now,
Raptors.
no joking yet. Go Raptors. What's up with the Raptors? They destroyed Atlanta last night. Shout out to Trey Young and family there.
Locked up the playoffs.
Locked up number 6 seed. Yeah, so no play-in. And
I hate the play-in.
sorry for anybody Laker fan related, as that team is a S show right now. Like, look at who they have,
It's
man. They
true.
have like 4 or 5 Hall of Famers on that team. They couldn't even make the playoffs. It just goes to show you basketball is probably, look, it's superstar based. There's no doubt about that,
Yeah.
but definitely a huge team game, as all sports are. But basketball, if you don't play together and you have some sort of, again, they had more I saw Anthony Davis tweet this. Apparently they had more starting lineups than they did wins. Because of the injuries. I don't know if that's true
Maybe
or not,
there's a
but
stat on that, but I'm willing
kinda
to bet
believe
that
it,
if you have too many rotations,
that's it. They not comfortable with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's because AD was hurt, and then Dwight
He's always
Howard, and LBJ, and Rondo, and Russell Westbrook. But we're Canadian. We don't know anything about sports.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, I'm like, Russell probably doesn't have to be injured to be a detriment to the team he's on.
I like Russell Westbrook.
I shouldn't have said that. He's one of the most
I mean,
talented
it's-
physical freaks of an athlete out there.
That
man.
guy, when he has the rock in his hands. I mean,
Oh,
it's just-
dude, he could have played any sport he wanted to. He's such a freak of an athlete.
Yeah, that guy's a beast. But okay, back onto the market.
I know. My bad.
Yeah, you're bad for what?
Oh,
No, we should be
beginning of
talking.
sport.
We should be talking about that stuff. That's fine. I like talking about sports. I think our guys do too. We can't sit here and talk about it. Yo, Canada curling. Yeah, man. You guys know about my curling. Every Sunday, man, join me at High Park Club for curling. I'm actually about to do a podcast for curling. I forget what the podcast is now, but shout out to curling.
So this one I have to hold you to. I keep joking around saying I've always wanted to do it once.
Yep.
So one of these days, you actually have to.
Yeah,
take
we can
the
rent
curling.
ice for sure.
Yeah, we should rent the ice, and maybe actually better yet, we should maybe take the team, because that's actually not a horrible maybe team building kind
You
of.
really
thing.
want to see Fahad on a curling rink?
Why not?
I don't want to see Tony. If Tony's there, man, I'm taking out insurance because that's ice. Everything. You got to wear a helmet.
I think I want to see Prad curl. That would be the most.
Prad
entertaining.
curling. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That'd be dangerous. Prad, you want to curl? Yeah, okay. There, yeah.
I know he's
let's
down.
Let's go to Trader Prad
He's
and show
game.
him there. Just give it a big. Yep, he down. Yep. Not great form, but yeah, you can sweep for sure. Trader Prad, we're gonna do some curling there. I don't know if you've ever swept before, but what's up to Trader Prad? Yeah, good job there. We do have the World Curling Championships. I think Canada's 6-0 now.
There's a joke in there for Prad. Has he swept before? But
I started curling when I was in grade school. So my grandparents were actually curlers, and they sort of got us started. So that's why. Then I got my kids on it, and now it's like all they want to do is curl. So they like it. I don't know. And I coach, of course. So that is curling right now. Shout out to everybody as we go. But okay.
now we better see Prad sweep, or I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah. I think we can. I think I can organize that. I think we can all go. It'd be really fun. I think it'd be a fun little outing there. Not only that, the
Erin
best-
would love it. She can't do it. She's too.
The best part about curling is the social aspect of it. Like there's a bar it's a club. Like you have seats there, and right behind is a bar
They got like cosmic
with
curl.
taps. Like we have taps. Like, anyways, yeah,
Can you
cosmic
get
curling. That
is
would be
it
the
only?
best.
Do they have is it like a full bar?
Yeah, full bar. Yeah, like there's like 10 beers on tap, man. Trust.
If you
I've
could do
got
like
this.
maybe a grad party curling or something, that would be a lot
I've
of fun.
got this.
We got a grad party coming up. We had a trainee.
Like I said, though, if we
trainees
have a party
graduate.
there, man, there's insurance liabilities here. So
Oh, that's
I got to
true.
double check that.
Oh, you know what else is coming up?
What's that?
No one else cares about this but me. Opening day is tomorrow. For the Jays, it's on Friday. So when we celebrate SBFM
Why
just
does
now,
nobody care
it's got
about that?
650.
Why does nobody
Because it's
care?
baseball, man.
Nobody cares about baseball? I know
You'll
Trader
see-
Pratt
I'll be at
hates
games
baseball.
all the time, man. Just show up at the Rogers Center. I'll probably be there as often as I can. Not as much now with the kid and all. But if we break down any further, going to go back to the markets briefly here. No, for real. Going to start to think about having to get out of this trade on SBFM, even if it doesn't want to break that 640. So I got the target in there, but it's 4 minutes to the imbalances. Market is coming close to us here. Adjust the stop as always, but this market is going back and forth. I think the best opportunities, and this is one thing, if there's one thing you're going to take away from trading post-Fed, whether it's the minutes, whether it's a rate decision, I'm going to zoom way in so you can see the NASDAQ. If you look at the bottom, we broke through Yeah, we tested through the high of the day, but there was no true violation of the range, right? It was whipsaw action in both directions. So if you want to trade in equity, just wait for it to fail at that high and find the stock that you like that's at a top or a key level, you short it, and you do the same thing with the long. Like if there's a lot of trades have worked here, but the best ones were just finding that bottom, finding that top, and then working the edges. And if it decides to consolidate above or below and continue the move, we've seen that happen before. But on the days that it doesn't, it's just get inside that range, find the stock you want to execute the trades on, and you can't go wrong. I know you were looking at Facebook, and the long was a great long, and there's no question about it. But look what ended up happening here. You're going to go right to that top, that 225, reject it twice, once at 2 o'clock, and then again right at 3 o'clock, and it cannot break through. And that's what ends up happening, guys. And you got to take advantage of it. There it is. All you had to do was complain about it. We get our break. Now flat on the day. Got down to 611 on SBFM. So high of the day, and then off of that 7, all the way down to 6 even. It's still up, oddly enough, 10%, but a nice move there in SBFM.
Yeah, the market is bouncing right now, boy. Yeah, a nice little move to the upside here. I don't know, maybe we should just be done with Palantir now, as that took out some highs. So, oops, that's still Facebook. Oh, while we were ranting about random stuff, you just mentioned Facebook. Like, that 223 came right back in and respected that bottom again, and I don't even know where my order is. Like, I thought we were going long 223. I must have canceled it, but right there, Facebook comes right back in and respects those bottoms. Like, literally at 3:30, it came right back in there on this move to the downside. I guess we were too busy watching Palantir not break. And then there's Facebook come right back in right there. So, yeah, man, we did have that trade on FB, and we didn't take it again. Like, I don't know what I was doing. The market, oh, okay, but I know what I'm doing now. We did reverse into a long on Palantir, whatever. There it is right there through. Now we go long again. It's just like, it's going to look nasty because, like, a lot of you may have not been in this trade, but, like, this is really the only mistake where we went long, and out. After that, we shorted and took some profits back down to 13. We just shorted again and took some out at 04s, 05s, and 06s. Then we took one last short again at 9s. You saw that was my average price. Then we got out at 11s. So it's not, like, that bad, but we do have the market coming out here in a minute, and that's going to be the imbalance locator. So what that is right here. We got... Like, again, it never ever says this, but there it is right there. We'll cancel that out, and we'll have to see what happens now with this market as it's about to open up. None of these numbers are real. In about 45 seconds, we'll get these 2 updates.
Yeah, and that's sort of the key. And Tyler RM in the chat was asking, like, do you know what Home Depot is going to be HD, like, for an imbalance? Predicting imbalances on a single name is near impossible. If there's an index action or extreme price movement, maybe you can make a guess. But if it's mostly been going sideways and following the market, anyone that tells you they can guess what it's going to be, they'd have to be sitting on the floor and be the market maker, or you can't do it. But I will try to get it as fast as I can, that individual name. I'm flat. I have no trades on or orders out. So when I see them hit, Sean's going to give you the breakdown, but I'll give you Home Depot because I'm not really doing anything else at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we got an update of a buy side, but here we go. Okay, so we're getting ready to go right now. We are back into Palantir. Let's see what this market wants to do, though. 11s, 12s. It looks like the market's doing nothing. So I don't really have anything to talk about right now, but we'll see. It looks like BAC, Cisco, HMHC, no. Lowe's, no, I don't really see anything, man. I mean, SoFi's here. Like, what is up with this? This must be an index move here. If someone can confirm, ISBC. Let's just check out, is this a penny stock or not? No, this is a big,
what the heck is
big mover here. ISBC with the big imbalance there today. So with a nice sell side. So maybe news today on ISBC, but no big names there. Maybe J&J has a buy. That's about it.
Yeah, that's moving there. And I threw it in the chat there, but 137,000 to buy on Home Depot. Not a ton, but it's not totally insignificant, but it's into 5 million shares worth of volume. So that does matter. Well, Facebook just did a bit of a turn. Was that on there? No.
No, the market.
Oh, the market just did. That's what it was. The market. I was just going to say, like, Facebook 225 to 224 when the imbalances come out. That's either a big market move or it itself had a big imbalance, which I did not see up there. So, yeah, we're getting another rejection off the highs. It hasn't been a great day for the market overall. But let's keep a couple things in perspective. 2% is 2%, but we have bounced pretty significantly off the lows and are holding in the middle. So I get it; it's not looking that fantastic, but we are off of the lows, even though it doesn't feel like it for most of the day here. We are off the lows a little bit here.
Yeah, we're bouncing a little bit. Rivian, you might as well close that trade. Palantir, we lost another 2 pennies on that one. Here's Rivian right now. We've already talked about that as a daily chart here, but there's the move back into 40.70. It did tick up to 41. I'm thinking that this is probably just an out now on Rivian, so why not try that right here, RIVN, out in the 70s if we can do that. I'm going to cancel my bids and offers as we got to get out very, very soon here. AMD is probably a name we should have stuck with. It's not. Okay, here's Rivian. Let's just bid 71 and get in all this group here. Oh, man, it's funny because when it hits, there it is. Is it not filling as we break down to the downside? There it is. Gives us that fill on Rivian. There it goes to the downside, but we'll try this one. Rivian out with a big win for me today. Boom, boom, boom. 3 shorts, all wins on Rivian and all into that level of 41.50 basically. So we'll watch out for that tomorrow for RIVN. But other than that, man, it's been a pretty incidental close. I mean, I think we got some good moves happening there, but ultimately the futures just kind of threw everybody around, because if you go right back to 2 o'clock, which is right here when that number came out, look where we are right now. So you just go, this is when the number came out. This is where we are right now, just a little lower than that. So just up and down and around, and that's not great for day trading. So, if you took some hits there in the afternoon, I kind of feel like you never really want to put on any big positions when something like that happens, especially when you get a reversal in the market. Like it started to go, then it stopped, and then it went again, and now we're kind of starting to hover around. So, yeah, not much happening. Gave up that Rivian a little too early, man, as this is starting to tank down here at the end of the day. Right back into where we wanted it, Rivian. Oh, that's too bad. Oh, well, we got out at 70 there for 40-cent win, I believe it was. So, 54 cents there for Rivian. So a good trade either way, but should have been a little more patient with that one.
So Eva Lee asked, with 6 minutes to go, she's asking for levels on Tesla for tomorrow. I mean, if it gets to 1080 to 1085, fair enough. That same one from this morning would be good, but I'm kind of looking at the top end here. And in the pre-market, it had a bottom 163-ish, so 60 to 65, that's that price area. It was also the support for the jailbreak to the double top we had at 11.5. And if we get through it, it also happens to be the Fed top as well, that 1060 area. So I like that level, 1060 to 1065. For sure that's in place. And 1020, 1025. Like that's going to be the breakout that we had going into the end of the month there, the 28th, when we broke through that price. And it was also the bottom here today. So some of these stand out as obvious, and then 1,000 if you go any lower. Hopefully that made sense. If they didn't, tweet at me or ask in the morning, because we always go over Tesla. It's almost always on the watch list. Brendo?
One that could be on the watch list tomorrow. Genius Sports, we've looked at many times on the show, just popping up here, guys, on a note suggesting the NFL. It's Sportico, Sportico.com, reporting the NFL is now the largest stakeholder in Genius Sports, guys.
That's a genius move there by the NFL. But, okay, we'll see as they're coming in to report. The market is trying to give up a little bit here into the end of the day, as you could see. But, I mean, I would just look to AMD as that. Again, like, look how rough this has been here. It's not like doing anything. AMD back and forth here again. So this is a name that I'd look to short tomorrow as well. Today I don't really have any swing trades. If you think the market's going to be bouncing tomorrow, I definitely think you could swing Facebook down 4% today. It's too much in my opinion, but I don't know. We'll see. But I wouldn't do anything. That Fed came out. Let's see where we open. That's back-to-back horrible days for the NASDAQ. So down 2% yesterday, down 2% today. So it hasn't been good. Like Nvidia's down again at 5% and going lower right now. So back down to 244. Nvidia looking like it's down almost 6%, right now for Nvidia. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's been a bouncy day here, especially in the afternoon. A lot of people trying to digest those minutes. Doesn't seem like anyone could figure this out. Yeah, exactly. And look, I always like to point out some strength, and we talked about Walmart and Costco, but I just want to reiterate that with only 4 minutes to go. Like, in the face of this, you are seeing Walmart up to almost 2.5%, and it's getting close to those 2020 highs. Like that 157 is within spitting distance. And if the entire market decides to turn red, there are some things that are at those highs, and Walmart certainly is one of them. Super, super strong. That ATER,
preparation, because not having the locates drops right into VWAP. Like that was almost perfect in the way that it bounced off a triple bottom, goes all the way into the high of the day, turns on a dime within 1 cent of the high of the day and pulls right back into VWAP. But you can't get the trade if you don't pay for the locate. So you always have to do that every single chance you get. If you know you want to trade it, you got to go back over to it. Twitter, I'm going to file away that it didn't break that 50-30. So it bounced off it again, even with the market pulling back a couple of times. Twitter has managed to hold that 50-30 level over and over again. So it looks like that's going to be pretty significant. 30 to about 60, where it broke out this morning, will be pretty significant for Twitter as we look to tomorrow's trade with only about 2.5 minutes until the close. Market probably not going to get green, but at least we're not at the low of the day.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Okay, so we are dancing here a little bit anyways with Palantir. We just been trying this. We were able to get some O's there on some of these. It's just going to look messy. We're not going to be up on Palantir, but we're just kind of having some fun with it here. As the market's getting ready to close with only 3 minutes left, let's have another look at the locator quickly. You still have that ISBC here. That's trying to pair off. Nielsen is right here as well as a sell. I believe a buyout there. That's selling off right now as well on a sell. I don't know if it's selling off, but there's a sell imbalance coming through. Let's check out Ford. What does Ford look like here? That's still a daily chart. Let's go over to a minute chart. Ford does have a buy on it, I thought.
1.2.
Yeah, that's a decent buy. I mean, it'll probably pair off. There's only 2 minutes left, but Ford right now is looking to go upside as well off that imbalance. So watch out to see. Did it pair? No, it's only a couple more minutes. We'll see. 58's another big update, so we'll see. There it is now. 358 just came in. So some of these names have stayed on that 58 update. So Ford's still 1 million pair opportunity. It's done 90 million shares today, so it probably won't affect it, but Ford does have that buy imbalance, guys.
Yeah, and just what? So many things are still dumping, right? Like, I know you're not in Rivian anymore.
No, unfortunately.
Oh, come on. There's only 90 seconds left, and it's right at 40. It's breaking 40.
Is it at 40? Oh,
yeah,
no.
I was trying to bring it up, and then my chart right at the end of the day wants to crash, but it's at that 40 mark and breaking it. So
God.
If it holds this, which would be fantastic, because guess what level we're looking at tomorrow morning? Rivian at 40 is a good one. Low of the day is just lower, but hey, 40 is a big round number. We know what happens when we get to those types of prices. I'm fairly certain that we're going to get both of our two favorites on the bell today. Hopefully they don't break any eardrums today. That would be nice. Oh, now I let it go all the way to 0 and it still won't load. You have the chart up. Go to Sean's chart. Look at Rivian.
Yeah, I'm looking at Rivian. Damn you, Rivian! All the way to the downside, man. We were like waiting for that short.
And I was like, did you make money on the stock?
Yeah. We made lots of money
Feeling
on
good
Rivian today, but it doesn't matter. It matters, but still, look at that. This is what we were kind of waiting for. Look, to be honest with you, Ardo got out in the 30s, so it's not like, oh my God, it's down to 40. But why couldn't that move just happen when I wasn't looking at it? Then I wouldn't have to worry about it with only 30 seconds left. Congratulations, anybody that held that Rivian. Look, I'm glad to give it to you. We had to get it 3 times here, but we only have 30 seconds left to go now. That's frustrating for Rivian. But okay, we'll trade that tomorrow, so let's not worry about it. Now there's only 20 seconds left.
Get the camera on.
We know who's over there.
You know
it's Miss V, and it's the Pepperoni Man. So we're getting ready to rock and roll right now with only 10 seconds, Neil. Let's do this.
That's right. Countdown. Ooh, perfect timing this time. I got to time it, line it up right. Tony, Miss V, dance. You're on camera. 5, 4, 3. Ring it. It's still not loaded. I pulled this chart up 3 minutes ago.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, thank you for that. No point in showing Rivian anymore there, as you guys behind us are already getting ready to get out.
What?
Okay, I don't know. There's some excitement behind us. But without any further ado, let's go over to Brendo and see what's up with the markets.
Much better than it could have been, guys, when all is said and done after what we had this afternoon. Just 1% for the S&P. Yeah, the NASDAQ, back-to-back days, 2% plus to the downside. 0.5% here in Toronto. Crude 4 and 6 there for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So after we ended the month of March at 9% for the NASDAQ off all-time highs, we're now back to 14% off all-time highs for the NASDAQ.
At least the Dow wasn't that bad.
Yeah, no, that sucks about the
cares
NASDAQ.
about
The
that.
NASDAQ's definitely giving some back here. We talked about the market and everything like that. But yeah, you know what? It's going to be a good day tomorrow, that's for sure. Back-to-back 2% days to the downside. Obviously, most of our shorts worked, so let's see if it can continue to work here into tomorrow. Like I said, if you've been holding anything, obviously the short side is going to work out. But don't forget about that, possible squeeze back to the upside, especially if we do get some news tomorrow. Powell might come out and say something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It all started yesterday with Brainerd at about 10:30 or so. When that news came out, or was it maybe 12? I can't remember. But when she came out and started,
And then
to throw
daily after.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, big thank you today, Fahad, Lucas. Thank you so much for the ones and twos. Mark working hard today as well around here. Thank you to Ms. V for ringing the bell and for monitoring the chat. Trader Pratt, I hope you had a good close there. It sounded like it was fun. But yeah, man, we're back tomorrow. It should be a good one. Brendan, how was your day today?
Pretty quiet, guys. We were monitoring what was going on. I mean, Miss V and I were just talking, even from where, and Sean, you mentioned it as well, even from where the minutes came out, we went up, we went down, we went up, we went down, and now we're kind of right back to where it started, so a whole bunch to do about nothing, it would appear.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and that's why we did that. We showed you that was just a little bit of a bounce back and forth. Let's hope we get a little more of a trending open tomorrow, one way or the other. But we're going to be back. Watch our trade of the day is next. If you missed it, it was Square.
Block.
Square block.
I always say Square.
Watch out for that SQ, regardless, for Neil on our trade of the day. I'm Sean. This is Neil. That's Valeria. That's Brendan. We're your Trader TV Live team, and we're back tomorrow at 8:30. See you then. Ciao.